Yeah.
Here we go.
You can go ahead and do that, John. Let's get this shit fucking started, bruh.
Another week.
Oh my god, another week,
Another
man.
Starbound.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
I thought this shit was hilarious. It's bad. It's like dark humor.
Yeah.
But like, I was geeking at it so hard that I have to share it, bro.
What is it? Yeah.
So, like, I'm probably gonna go to hell for this, but there's this girl, right?
Yeah.
And there's this guy, and he's like a kung fu teacher or like a karate teacher, and he was trying to get the kid to break the board, right?
Earlier today, you saw this?
I saw this on Instagram, like a video. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just like a little clip or whatever. And like, so she steps on the board, doesn't really break it at first, and he's like, "Oh, give it another try, give it another try."
Yeah.
So then, with her foot, she breaks the board the second time,
Nice.
and he's like, "Oh my god, good job!" And he brings out his hands to give her a high five. She has no arms.
Wait.
She has no arms, bro.
Oh.
She broke the board with her foot, but she has no arms.
Shouldn't her instructor know that she has no arms?
See, that's what's so funny. Like, he was like, "Yeah, good job." And he brings out his hands. He's like, "Oh, shit." But then, this is where it gets funnier. Right? He sees, obviously, she cannot give him a double high five. So he brings his hands down and then brings up only one hand for a one high five.
For her foot to high five or something?
No, like, I think he thought, like, "Oh, let me readjust," but then he readjusted to another thing that requires hands. So then it was like, bro, you fall. But then it gets funnier.
Sounds like he's not equipped to...
It gets funnier. So again, she cannot high five the man. He's not understanding this, right? So then he puts his hand down, and there's one final thing. A fist bump.
No way, bro. I don't understand.
I just saw the video, bro. It is still on my phone because this shit was geeking me. So he brings out a fist bump. He's like, "Fuck." And you know what he ends up doing?
What?
He just fist bumps her chest.
What the?
Like this. Like,
that's weird.
dude, that shit was like the most awkward, embarrassing fucking like, but it's so funny.
Man should have known. Like, you really should have known that.
Like, here's the thing. I get it, you know, when you're used to dealing with people with hands,
Yeah.
you know, you get you forget about it. So
Yeah.
maybe he was just like, "Oh," but the double high five thing, it was like, "Oh shit."
Maybe so.
But the issue is that he shitted and then like kept trying to do things related with hands. It was bad.
I'm glad your day started with a good geeking. You know.
It's so bad. It's like it's. I think, you know, she was like she was like just having fun, the fact that she broke the board or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a really depressing situation, but it was just so funny to look at this guy like fumble and then fumble again and then fumble again.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Dark humor, man. I'm definitely gonna go to hell for that one.
Hey, look, sometimes it's so messed up you just have to laugh. There's nothing you can do but laugh. You know what I'm
That's the
saying?
only thing you can do sometimes.
Yeah.
So. But no, that was hilarious. I feel good now.
Good. Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, guess
Feel
what?
good.
This is Starbound 20.
Wait, what? No, I thought this is 19.
No, I'm pretty sure the last one was 19.
No, the last one was 18, bro. This is 19.
Dude, I'm like, let me check right now.
Kevin, I think you're wrong. Everyone put in the comments how wrong Kevin is. So
Hold on now, give me
so
a
he
second.
understands that he's a wrong bloke and this is episode 19.
I don't think you're right. I think it's up to 20.
I think you're wrong. That was a dummy one.
Read it and weep.
That's this episode, but in the future.
It's Starbound 20 right now.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
So what are we doing for episode 20? This is like the special
we do have to do a
episode.
celebratory. I wasn't really prepared for this. I guess
know.
we should look back and recall some things about this podcast.
We've covered a
and our
lot of
goals and
things
everything.
over the past like 20 weeks. Or
Yeah.
I guess 19 weeks.
Let's go ahead and cover our week.
Yeah.
But then let's go back and have a nice reflection period on like just the podcast and how it's been for us, because you know, we keep talking about arts and everything but the podcast, but the podcast is an art in itself.
True.
And it's definitely changed our lives.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, oops. Yeah, for sure.
But first, just like week stuff. So how's your week been, man? What's going on?
My week was good, man. I think like we've been, like I said, we've been diving into the sort of, you know, cooking, recording music and adjusting things here and there. And now we've kind of transitioned into still creating music, but a lot of promo, as you know.
Yeah.
Like
second half of art is presentation.
promotion. which is not entirely as fun as the creation of it, I think.
Which is why people always like pay out the business people to take care of that.
Exactly. It's not as fun, but it's definitely necessary. So it's like, all right, gotta get this going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I feel like I get enjoyment from like the overarching, like being the CEO of the promotion. Like, what's the style and what's what's the goal for us to like sell this movie or project or whatever it is. Like, I like being the overarching idea for that, but doing the nitty gritty promotional stuff, it kills me, bro.
Man, I've been like,
I don't want to do this.
Right, I've been like recording a lot of videos, editing a lot of videos. Like, the cool news is like, I feel like I create something each day, so I feel like I'm putting my skills to use. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, yeah, like you said, like, when do you find like personal time to yourself? You know, you take the weekends off. Like, when do you give yourself a day? And it's also like, once you've been creating like every single day, it's like, what do you do in your free time? Because I find now that we've been creating so much more, I feel like
creating more as like a career than as a hobby.
Then it's like, what do we do in our free time now? Because now I'm always writing down my notes, like, whenever I get an idea, like, constantly. And I like it because I always have ideas that I can go back to in my notes and use them for a different verse or a different chorus and stuff like that. Or just like a poem, because I like writing poems now, you know. And it's nice to reflect back on the poems, you know, and create more content out of that stuff. But I also like keeping some of it for myself too.
That's the thing. It's like, and I might have mentioned this before, but like, there's a story about Eminem and Akon, I think, or maybe it was Usher, but they were linking up in a studio, and I think it was Akon that was telling this story. I can't be sure, but Akon was saying that him and his friends are at the studio till 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, all they're doing, you know, they do like the really late night crazy music sessions and stuff like that. But Eminem treats it like a 9 to 5. He comes in at 9 o'clock in the morning, he gets to work, and he's out by 5 to go and like hang out with his family and do other shit. So Eminem treats it like a fucking job. Like, he's not dicking around.
Right.
I think it's because it's really, when you have a 9 to 5, and given like, we're the creatives that like to shit on 9 to 5ers because like, it just seems such like a dull lifestyle. But I respect the fact that they have a set hours of, from this point to this point, we're working. Like, this is work, right? I'm doing this to feed myself and to support myself, and then I can go back into like my fun lifestyle and then live a happy life, or sometimes a boring life. But you know, that's on them. But for creatives, you set your own hours on what you create and when and what you do. So it's harder to know when do you stop creating and just live.
Right. It's also tricky because like, sometimes as an artist you want to sit around and wait for inspiration to come to you. But a lot of times the inspiration never comes if you're waiting for it.
Bro, J. Cole literally said that,
He did?
Like, I was watching, because the whole album of the off season has that theme in mind of like, the reason why he takes so long to make another project is because he's waiting for this inspiration that never comes.
Right.
And then now into his, I think he's in his 30s now, he's like, I gotta stop doing that. Like, he has to just put the work in.
Yeah, because it's like, to a certain degree, you just gotta churn stuff out, especially when you're just like in LA, you know what I'm saying, trying to do.
Because sometimes that inspiration, like, so that inspiration might never come. It might never ever come, and then because you've been waiting on this inspiration for so long, you get out of the flow of feeling like you're the coolest. Like, you trust your ideas. Like, it becomes daunting to want to get back into you know, that role again. With
these songs, I feel like I have found the inspiration to make them, and so that's what I've liked diving into recently. And I'm excited for those to drop. Like, actually, I should check to see if I got my official date confirmed for that.
I was gonna say, because on my side, y'all already know I've done all my posts on all my socials at this point, so I don't need to hide anything anymore. Leaving Saturn is dropping March 3rd, 2023.
March 3rd?
So this March 3rd.
How was your week?
We're gonna turn March up, man. Huh?
How was your week?
My week has been like, it's been weird. This week is the week where I try to switch hats, because my whole last year, maybe even year and a half now since COVID, has been working on this project, like this album. Like this has been like my center focus of like wanting to make something good. That's not just good, but I have an emotional attachment to. Like this is the most artistic I feel like I've ever been in my entire life.
And we've both switched to music for the time being. I feel like usually we're so it's almost weird now because you've switched to the promo.
Well, because COVID really changed a lot. Like I remember like having film projects that I was going to produce, not even direct, but produce for other people. Before COVID hit, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything
changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
Exactly. Yeah. So I switched to an art form that I could do by myself. And music is something that like I can literally wake up today and go and do.
That's the great thing about it is that you don't need really anybody to do it. Like
it's an addictive. I feel like music compared to film is more immediately rewarding. Yeah. But also, I want to say less rewarding in terms of like, I don't know, I feel like because you put so many weeks, months into a movie, I get a higher high from that.
Interesting.
Whereas for music, like, I can make it today, we might do a scout on it today, and it feels really good today. Yeah. And then even because not all of the songs we ever make is going to be released, right? So, and even on release day, like, I get a little high from that, but it doesn't feel as high as, like, a movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I used to agree with you, but recently it switched. Because, you know, I always liked music, but I was never, like, I never fully dived into it, really, I feel like.
Been a passenger, but not the driver.
Exactly. And recently, for whatever reason, like, dancing to music has been, like, my favorite thing to do. Like, I really like it. And we've been literally cooking, you know. Like,
yeah, we do music every day.
No, but not even music. I'm talking about we've been cooking food too.
Oh, you mean cooking? Yeah. Oh, you meant literal cooking. Yeah. I thought you meant just cooking. You know.
No, I meant like cooking.
Too.
I mean,
we cook too.
You know, we've talked about how we switched our lifestyle before, but it's like
we live much more interior lifestyle, which is a lot better for our situation.
Yes, it makes a lot more sense. Yeah. It feels like manageable at this point. Yeah, it's interesting. It's
I'm starting to even like the food that we make more than the stuff that we get outside.
So am I, which is good.
Like the other day we made we made like crispy chicken. Like it was like crispy chicken. Yeah, basically the other day
with the cornflakes.
Yeah, with the cornflakes. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting. I've never really thought of it like that. Yeah, we made it the other day, and I was like, oh shit, low key. Like, and that was just like a base level. Like, we just used the basic ingredients and they already tasted really good. I started getting ideas of like, oh, I know, like, next time we add all this other bullshit and make this like really special. Like, and it started like occurring to me that like you can make a lot of this shit that you love out there at home. Yeah. And like you can make it at home and you can even customize it to however you love it. Yeah. So it's like, why even waste your time with like basic standard food out there when you can make way better food here.
Starting to make our own recipes.
Exactly. And I get it sometimes because, like, cooking, like that thing that we did, the crispy chicken. Yeah. Bare minimum, right? 1 hour to cook in the oven. Yeah. An entire
That's the thing. It takes up time. So, like, when you start going places during the day and stuff like that, that's when it starts taking up time. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, like, forget how much, or I tend to forget how much, like, going to one place, that's, like, a big part of your day. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of interesting on divvying up time, but I feel like we're kind of treating it not even like a 9 to 5. I feel like I've been kind of constantly going, and
so 16 to 9, 16.
Like from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, I'm like thinking about the next thing. It's been kind of like a grind mindset. That's crazy. But it's not even like intentional. It's just kind of happened.
I was gonna ask. Are you afraid of burnout? Because I feel like every creative experiences it at least once.
Am I afraid of it? Mm-hmm. I would say I'm not super afraid of it in the sense of like raw creativity, because I feel like like writing my thoughts down in my notes is actually going very well. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like one art form tiring over another, maybe, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Like right now, like I love music because I can like listen to a song and like analyze a song and like take notes on a song and like write, you know, my own verses and stuff in my like any time of day.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I can literally work on any time of day. So when I'm on like the metro or something, I can write notes. When I'm doing this, I can write
Writing
notes.
verses.
So
and
for
hooks
me,
and stuff.
yeah, as far as like a time investment goes and like a productive creative output goes, it seems to be the most effective way to use my time. Do you know what I'm saying? I also like just love listening to other people's songs and be like, oh, they did it like this. Oh, they did it like that. I've actually switched where I used to think like, I feel like it used to be like I would watch more movies and TV shows and YouTube and stuff. Like now I don't do any of that and I just listen to music instead.
Wow.
I never thought I would have that like much 180 of a switch.
Now that I've seen you do the 180 switch, and I feel like you're just a 180 switch person.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think you could halfway a lifestyle. I feel like you either go dive fully into a lifestyle or you don't.
Yeah,
Because you even treat that with school. Like, when you were in school and stuff like that, like, if you were in school, you devoted that time. You were getting it fucking done.
That's true. And I think it feels weird. That's another thing. I mean, like, we're about at the time period that is past... Like how do I say it? I graduated last May, right? So we fully passed a semester.
Yeah.
Like, so this is that was my first semester without
Outside of school to give you structure.
in like forever.
Yeah.
Literally forever.
Literally since like birth.
And it feels weird. Like that's a weird time. You know what I'm saying?
It is a weird time.
So for a minute it's like, all right, well, going to a new place, gotta find your grounding, gotta meet people, gotta go out, gotta do this. But then it's like, all right, when do we bunker down and get cooking? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the break, you know, going back home for winter break is like what we needed to refresh ourselves. And, you know, I got to know LA and stuff like
you gotta get acquainted with this place, man.
The first few months here, exactly. But now it's like we're bunkering down. And now it's like, all right, I go out here and there, but most of the time I'm working on a project. I'm cooking something. I'm creating something.
I think as a creative, and I learned this from just like people that I know and professionals and even non-professionals, when you look at everyone's perspective, as a creative, if you want to treat it as a career, you need to be like basically creating every day.
Yeah.
Like when you finish one project, another project has to already be in the background for what's coming next.
Exactly. Like if you can't say that you did something creatively per day, how are you going to turn it into a lifestyle? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to go with the flow and see which form of creation works best for you, like you get the most fulfillment out of, and that works best for a general audience. Because at the end of the day, you have to be able to sell it. You have to be able to sell it to a certain degree. Exactly. So it's kind of finding the balance, which is interesting because like I feel like art is so like the best art comes out of the rawest emotions. So I've been really trying to put my raw emotions into my notes and into my verses and into my choruses. And that's why sometimes when we like freestyle, like I'll just like go off the top of my head and then we get some of the best hooks and stuff that way. But I find that is super rewarding. Like when I make a chorus and I'm like, that's exactly what it sounded like in my head. Then I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. And I feel like I started looking at songs like that. Like songs are like, I feel like I see them as the way people think is like how you're explaining songs. That's kind of how I think of songs. So I feel like with the songs, you know, that I'm dropping soon, it's kind of like how I think people can have a look into my psyche. And same as Leaving Saturn, like your album.
Leaving Saturn is it's more literally a look into my psyche.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard the project. I feel like I take you out of your shoes and put you in mine, and you can feel what it's like to be me.
Exactly.
During the time that I was making that album.
Yeah.
Right. So, every song I think wants to take you on a journey.
Yeah.
Especially since they only have like X amount of minutes to take you there.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can take me on that journey, I think you win.
It's so successful. It's movies are a different, like you said, a different sort of reward.
I get a similar experience, but not in the same way from movies.
Yeah.
Because I've grown from... one of my professors from USC told me this, that every movie wants to be watched in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? Not every... Because each movie's made by a person with a perspective.
Right.
So it's not like you can watch one movie and then watch another movie and then watch it with the same point of view.
Right.
You have to change your perspective every time you watch a movie. And I just saw this movie recently. Like, literally yesterday. I saw the movie Elvis. And I could tell that this isn't really a biopic of Elvis. I mean, it is. Those elements are in there. But it feels also like someone who genuinely, truly loved and cared about Elvis wanted to make a movie about Elvis. That's how I see the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Not as like this is the definitive Elvis story.
I see. Yeah, it seems like you were pretty bored.
Okay. I don't want to shit on it too early, okay? Because the part I just said about it being a fan's perspective, I did love that part of the movie.
Okay.
The part where it seemed like that like he genuinely wanted to show people why like Elvis was so loved and why like Elvis loved his fans back, like that relationship.
Okay, yeah.
I could tell he wanted to show that to other people, and because of that, like I'm not gonna say I'm a fan of Elvis. I don't listen to Elvis's music, but I am a fan of Elvis being an artist.
As big as Elvis was,
existence, I guess.
As big as Elvis was, I feel like I don't hear him in like coffee shops that frequently.
Actually, I mean, from what the movie's perspective says, that's what his biggest fear was, that he didn't do anything important.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I mean,
it's true. I think
he definitely has
his
some
name.
popular ones,
I think his name is like will ring forever.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like music, and like I think he has an influence for sure, but the songs aren't there compared to like even like a Kanye, which came way later. You know, like,
right.
I feel like Kanye has songs that will be timeless. The Beatles, Michael
There's probably
Jackson.
Somebody like
Elvis has like Hound Dog and a couple other big songs, but they don't feel as important to the culture as these other songs.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably somebody like freaking out when you say that. But
I know Elvis fans. Look, I'm not saying that he's not one of the biggest artists in the world. Like Elvis was one of the biggest people to ever exist.
Yeah.
But I think Elvis always wanted to be bigger for himself, and I'm basing this off of the movie, so this might not be the truth. But on the movie's perspective, it seems like Elvis wanted to be bigger than what he ended up being.
Yeah.
And he was just really crushed by the music industry and his manager.
Talk about was it Daniel Day-Lewis? We talked about this once before that played Lincoln.
I guess the world too.
Was it Daniel Day-Lewis or was it Yes. We talked about Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln in a prior episode, I believe, and how like he like studied up on Abraham Lincoln so much so that he felt this like empathy for Lincoln as like a human being, and then it was like really hard for him to break character and stuff. I heard the same thing about like Austin Butler and Elvis, because like you know how they like he like accepts his rewards and stuff, and then he like still talks in like the Elvis accent.
I heard that like his voice is now permanently changed because like the way he kept using the Elvis voice during shooting, like some of it stuck to him.
I feel like nothing's permanent, but it's probably like hard to get out of character. Like, what is a permanent change? You know what I'm saying?
I think I've made a lot of permanent changes because of characters that I put on.
Oh, really?
From like high school shows. I'm not the same Sean before and after Christmas Carol. I'm a lot louder now because of Christmas Carol.
The Ghost.
And it's not the only one. I became a lot more exquisite style after that one show we did where I was a politician. Like each of these characters do take and give something.
You're right. You're right. I do have like love for a lot of my characters that I've played over the years.
I think you're more of a dick after you played Stanley.
I don't think it's like that. Okay, let's not. You sound like TMZ now all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying?
Kevin's a piece of shit because of I'm just playing. I'm TMZing him.
Yeah. But no, you know how it is. Like you spend a lot of time with one character, and then you end up like. You just like you feel like you know that character because you become that character in that world, and then you do sort of sympathize with that character. Do I let it affect my personality? Maybe it like subconsciously affects my personality or something like that. But I don't feel like I try to be. I don't feel like I take too many traits from my characters.
Really?
Maybe it's an amalgamation, but no, I feel like I don't.
I just feel like I try to find, and I've retired from acting now, so. Give or take, I might come back. Yeah. But when I was acting a lot, I felt like I tried to find a truth in what the character was that I could believe in. And then once you believe in that truth, it's hard to, like, go back on it.
That's true.
Does that make sense?
Yes, because you have to... a lot of times I read lines, and I'm like, this character's so unbelievable. Like, I don't understand how
Some characters are poorly written, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't understand how anybody would say this. And then you just have to find, like, this voice in your head. Like, the only way you can say it is if you said it this way. Like, I remember there was one script, and I had to, like, read it, and I was just like, this writing is kind of trash, but I have to make it believable. It's, like, so cheesy.
Again, with Christmas Carol, I also feel like, not to hate on Christmas Present, because I think half of his writing is also really, really good.
Charles Dickens?
Yeah, it's just, like... And I understand it's written in a particular time or whatever.
His writing is actually pretty good. Like, the book is actually very
I think for most of it, and I'm not even talking about all of Christmas Carol, I'm just talking about my character in particular. Some of the writing in there is just like, this is bullshit. Like, this is bullshit.
Touch my robes.
Yeah, I think, like, the character that would say touch my robe, I feel like is not the same character that would say, like, what was that bullshit line that I had that I could never say? I kept fumbling that bag so hard.
What was... Oh, look
if
upon...
If doffeth have chance the something... Or some
I remember
bullshit,
it was like something like, look upon my robes. And there was like two children, like, inside your robes.
Yeah, see, doth chanceth with the something of the... I don't even remember that fucking line. But I just remember it was like, this does not seem like the same character. So I just turned the line into whatever I feel like I would say.
Oh, did you change the words, or did you...
No, I didn't literally change it.
Okay.
I just mean, like, I think I performed it in a way that not any other person would, because I put more of myself in it. And I think you could even tell, like, I think I dropped the British accent and went for, like, this, like, Merry Christmas, ho, ho, ho.
Like that.
I went with that just because I feel like that's something that I can relate a little bit closer to than, like, the super heavy British Cockney accent and all that shit. And also, like, which is ironic, but also, it's just, I can make that believable. Like, a person that talks like that would say these two things.
That makes... exactly.
And it did, because at the end of the day, like, the acting coach / co-director, Mr. Boss, rest in peace. He came up to me, like, when we were doing, like, the children version of the show. He was like, bro, like, all right, just ham it up. You know what I mean? Like, everything you've been doing, triple time that shit.
Yeah.
Go super ho-ho-ho-y on that.
Mr. Boss gave some fire tips to me, too, back in high school.
No, he is, like, the GOAT, man. I do miss his presence. I do miss his presence. He was great. But yeah, like, I fully gave into what I made the character instead of what I feel was expected from me to put into the character.
I really like hearing your process as an actor, because I feel like
it's different, right?
You don't talk about it that much.
It's just because I gave up on it. It's just something that I didn't feel like was fully rewarding to me anymore.
So interesting, because, like, for me, I feel like acting is, like, so rewarding. Like, you know, it's weird though. I agree with you in terms of, like, processes for creating the character. Yeah. And I wouldn't call myself a method actor particularly.
I think sometimes you've occasionally gone a little method.
Sometimes
you dabble. You don't.
Yeah, I dabble. Method. Like definitely, like, when the show is going on, I try to stay in the mindset of the character. Like, I remember for, like, Mary Poppins back in the day, I was supposed to be this, like, pissy father, you know, I was supposed to be, like, mad and, like, angry all the time. So I just remember, like, repeating to myself, like, before I went on stage, I remember being like, oh, this sucks, like, if you can't, like, get this done, and your family's gonna get, like, kicked out of the house, and you're gonna be homeless. Like, I had these thoughts, like, going through my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's cool, because, like, when you're done with the show, you feel like you've lived that life already.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have, like, the context of this 50-year-old man.
I know what it feels like.
Yeah. And I still feel that way. I still feel like I have I know that guy. So I'm like, I feel like I take those lessons that I learned, and I'm like, all right, what lessons can I take from this character or this show, and adjust my life for the betterment. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, like, when we did Streetcar Named Desire, like, Stanley was he's an awful human being. He's, like, aggressive. He's angry. Like, so I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy sucks, but I gotta bring him to life, understand him, and then take some notes on how to not be like him. You know what I'm saying? Like how to
avoid being Stanley. What's his last name?
Kowalski.
I almost said Yelnads.
Yelnads, like holes. Yeah.
I was like, so you avoid being Stanley Yelnads.
Funny thing is, like, with like Stanley, I was like nothing like Stanley, so it was pretty easy to keep that barrier there.
I don't know. I saw you at Sky Zone the other day, and you're pretty monkey-esque.
What does that have to do with Stanley Kowalski?
He's an animal, bro.
Oh.
I feel like Stanley doesn't take pride in, but I feel like Stanley represents a very animalistic version of what humanity is. In its rawest, like, emotional level.
It's written so well. Tennessee Williams really can write.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Some writers have bars.
Yeah.
Tennessee got bars.
Yeah,
I'm not touching no Tennessee fucking like. Good luck.
It's really good. It is a really good show. That show is.
I think that show is fan-freaking-tastic. I have occasional issues with the movie version, but
I haven't seen the movie version.
great performances. But like the main actress that plays, what's the character's name? Blanche.
Yeah.
Something about her voice. I can't understand a word of what she's saying.
Really?
Of like, and I get it, like accents and all that bullshit, but the way she was using her accent was in a way that I couldn't fully appreciate what her performance was.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want.
I know it's not just her, or I know that it is just her because Marlon Brando's performance comes across. Every other act in that movie, like their performances came across. It's like just her. I'm like, bro, what are you saying? Like, what's the emotion you're trying to give me right now? Like,
you couldn't hear what she was saying.
It was hard to understand her, and maybe that's a choice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a choice to make the incorrect thing. Because I think in Tennessee Williams' writing, it's supposed to be difficult to understand Blanche as a character.
Oh yeah.
She's intentionally difficult to understand.
You know what's funny though? Like Marlon Brando himself is infamous for fumbling the lines in his movies so that he could record them like over it later with ADR.
Oh.
You did that. You did that the other day. We had to do that for you for a movie.
I had to ADR for a movie, but it's because we were doing some guerrilla filmmaking, and you can't really record audio in those situations.
Right, but same, yeah.
Same concept though. I did walk in, do some ADR. It was fun.
Yeah, so Marlon Brando's known for just kind of mumbling his lines, like in The Godfather, especially. Like, for example, he's like, "You come to my daughter's wedding," like all that stuff, so that he could later just like redo the lines because he liked ADR.
He liked ADR.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. I think ADR is fun, but I feel like it will never fully take, and maybe it's never ever supposed to fully do what the scene was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you're in the moment, that's when like the truth really gets to come out.
Yes.
Versus like watching a screen of it and being like when we were doing the ADR, it was kind of difficult for me to understand. Like I'm not watching myself. I'm supposed to be in the movie.
Right.
Being myself and then doing all the ADR work.
Yeah.
So it was more difficult for me to connect with the scene because you see all the cuts and you see like you're supposed to be surprised by certain shots and it's like, well, I'm like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
I showed you the project I did where I literally had to like recreate the whole audio, right? Like this one project I had in college, we had to film this thing, but we accidentally filmed it in time lapse mode, but we only had like class to film it. So I ended up like slowing it down and then completely doing all the audio for it, like in my bedroom at home that weekend. And I found it really fun actually, like because I got to like recreate the world, but it wasn't like I used like my bedroom door for the sound instead of like the door in like the school building.
Foleying is a different story. I actually
no, but this was
Foleying.
ADR too. It was both. It was like everything. Yeah, it was my voice. It was the door. It was my footsteps, and it was fun because like I felt like I was imprinting my bedroom noises upon this like this school classrooms like I was putting I was creating new sound effects. You know what I'm saying? That was really fun.
Yeah, I like the best part about sound is if you don't notice it, it's a good job. I think that's so ironic.
Yeah,
it is so ironic that if your audience can't tell if like what you're doing, then you did a fantastic job.
It's
true. A different style of thinking about your craft.
I wish I also think like movies are obviously designed to have a more like a TV experience, like where you play it out loud. You know what I'm saying? But I wish there were more movies that were so like picky with their audio that you could really get a full surround sound experience with headphones in. And maybe there are some great movies. I'm sure there are some great movies like that. In fact, if anybody has recommendations for movies that just have like a great like surround sound experience with headphones on, please let me know. Maybe some great visuals, some great, surround sound. That sounds awesome.
Even without headphones, and headphones is like, it adds a lot of sauce to it. But I feel like not enough film and TV like projects put enough work into creating a sound experience where like the sound. And I hate bringing up this movie because we bring it up every single.
Are you gonna bring up the Batman?
I'm gonna bring up the Batman. The Batman just understands that this is a audio visual medium, and thus does its absolute best to give you an audio experience of what it sounds like to be Batman, and what does it look like to be Batman. And I feel like every movie needs to try and do that and be like, what does it sound like to be in this world, and what does it look like to be in this world.
That's the thing.
And then you should have a good story just on top of that. But if you can do those two things well, your story might not even matter.
That's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when I'm watching a movie, like you said, I want two of my senses satisfied. I want my visual senses satisfied, and I want my sight sense, and I want my hearing sense satisfied. So, like, if you can do those two things, that's good already. Then you're on the right. That's what you should start with. That should be the bare minimum. Now, then, if you put a good story, that's what's keeping my attention and keeping me throughout the movie, right? Because yes, visuals and audio is cool, but I don't want to watch a movie that's going to go halfway on audio and halfway on visuals. I would rather listen to a song that goes 100% on audio. You know what I'm saying? Because then I know it was fine-tuned, and then I know it was like worked really hard on. So for a movie, I want it to be like both. I want them to like put the full effort.
The movie needs to have the full effort in both. Which I'm gonna go back to Elvis because again I watched that recently and I want to dive into a little bit of review of that movie. And maybe this is just my beef with Baz Luhrmann or something, who is the director of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks.
Really?
It feels like visual, and this is going to be so harsh, but it feels like visual garbage.
Like it's not satisfying to look at.
Not that it's not garbage in the sense like it's a waste. It's garbage in the sense of like, when you try to like watch something on YouTube and you're hit with like 60 ads?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, like what am I like looking, like my eyes like you're just putting all this shit into my eyes.
Oh.
That's what it feels like to watch Elvis.
I think Harry might have said something about that too. Like, really? I might be misquoting, so let's just pretend. I don't know, Harry. You might have said this, maybe not, if Harry's listening. But I think he said that there was a lot of like references to things that if you were a big Elvis fan, you would have known what it was. But if you weren't, it just seemed like they were hinting at random things.
There's definitely a lot of love and like there's a lot of things about Elvis I think deep Elvis fans would fully understand, but then us, the audience, don't fully understand.
So it's almost like not crafted.
But I don't think it was enough for me to be like they're doing it too much.
Okay. Yeah,
because I remember, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's this point in Elvis's career where he goes to like a hotel, right, to perform and everything. And this is going to be a very important landmark in his career.
Right.
And the movie portrays that. And it portrays it in a way like, oh, like, be ready for this. Like, real fans would understand why it's so important.
Right.
I think the movie does a good job in explaining why does this become important in the scenes following.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember, like, the hotel thing came up, and I was like, oh, something bad's like, like, this is gonna be crazy.
So you can get some cues.
I just feel like any movie is going to kind of hint to you like what the ending is going to be based on the beginning. Like,
True.
But it's like weird
if they're trying to do too much fan service, because it's like, how would Elvis know if something's about to be a big event? A lot of the time. Now, if there's a lot of hype around it, obviously you're gonna know that your show might blow up and it might be like a big deal. But you also might just think it's another show and you don't know who's watching that night. So you know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I said this at the beginning. Like, Elvis is clearly designed by a fan of Elvis to give to other people so that they can understand why he's a fan of Elvis.
Right.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so I feel like visual-wise, it felt like it's a lot of noise. There were times where you're watching 3 different screens at the same time, or like 3 different things happening at the same time. It was just like I can't process this. It felt like you know, music videos cut really quickly.
Yeah.
This whole thing felt like a music video.
Oh.
This whole thing, there was like a scene or two where a movie would come back and you had some time to like get into the world and the drama.
Right.
But this whole movie was just a giant music video. It's like, I cannot process this information.
And you said Tom Hanks' character was like...
Oh my God, bro. Tom Hanks, I don't want to hate on Tom Hanks, but this performance this is bad, dude.
Yeah.
This makes me question, like, is Tom Hanks really the GOAT like that? Like,
you know, I've been thinking about this for a minute too. It's like he's in everything. Like, but is he like how versatile is he? Like, I feel
that's the thing, like, and you can't. There's some roles you can never take away from Tom Hanks.
Yeah, of course. Like
Forrest Gump is one of the greatest characters like ever made, in my opinion.
Forrest Gump is great.
Woody is fantastic.
Yeah, Woody.
There's a lot of other roles, you know, that Castaway movie. Like, there's roles that you can never take away from Tom Hanks.
Right.
You can 100% take this role away from Tom Hanks. This is not. This is not good, man. Even watching it, I felt like, I don't know like where he's originally from, but I almost felt like it was racist. Like,
I remember you said that he felt like a caricature or something.
He felt like a cartoon character. Like, there's no way someone is this maniacal, this evil, and like, I get it. Like, music managers and the whole this is why I also like don't want to dabble too far into the music industry. Yeah. I feel like that music industry is like evil. There's something really weird about music, and there's always an artist getting ripped off by the business.
Right.
But I'm gonna compare this to
different. Every industry though. It's so in the arts.
Every movie when it comes to art, someone getting fucked over. But music has like a stupid amount of examples.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna compare this movie to another movie, Straight Outta Compton. Yeah. Right. The manager does a very similar thing of like ripping off the artist and being a dick and everything. Yeah. And that's not really a spoiler. Is this a spoiler if it's real life?
It's up to you. I mean, that's like 2015 or something.
Okay, I feel like that's not a spoiler because if you see any music biopic, you know the manager is always going to screw somebody up.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
There's always something like that. That was 2015, so not quite 10 years, but it's also real life, so.
Yeah, but I feel like when they did Straight Outta Compton, right, and I forgot the actor's name, but the music manager in there, it felt honest. You know, he was doing it out of a sense of like, this is just how the business goes.
Right.
He did not feel very apologetic about it. It's just, you know, he's like an antagonist, I guess, but he's a normal person. He just happens to be, you know, ripping off these artists.
Right.
Whereas this guy, like out the gate, they say like he's like sinister, bro. Like a psychopath.
Right.
I didn't literally call him a psychopath in the movie.
Well, I know they do say a lot of like executives are actually like psychopaths and stuff because they just like will do what it takes.
And maybe they're making a point about that, but I feel like the way they did it should have been more nuanced because they made him feel like he's not a real person.
Like he's a supervillain or something.
Yeah, because any real person, right? Any real person, I don't care what the situation is, if someone's like dying or in need, they're gonna care a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
They're gonna care a little bit.
Right.
This guy has no fucking remorse. He's like, and maybe that's, again, like, as a fan, and then you hear about the stories of what happened to Elvis and the manager and whatever, you feel like you have to show that this guy's an evil piece of shit because you're a fan of Elvis and he fucked him over.
You're saying, though, you think maybe there should have been a balance of, like, because he was only praising Elvis, basically, is what you're saying.
No, it wasn't that it was only praising Elvis. I mean, Elvis does a couple of things that are questionable in here as well, and I appreciate that, like showing that even like some of the flaws of who Elvis was as a person.
Yeah.
But give that for everybody. The only character that's fantastic in this movie is Elvis freaking Presley.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe it's just because of Austin Butler. Like Austin Butler gave it up.
I know. Elvis Presley, he's got the like we said, he's got like he's stuck in the voice of Elvis. So. Yeah, like he like. Committed to being the way that a couple years ago, the way that there was a guy that played the guy from Queen. Rami Malek as
what's his name again?
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Like he committed to being Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And I feel like this guy committed to being Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
Like committed.
Now that's some method
I believed
acting.
It, dude.
That's method acting, man. The fact that he can't get rid of the voice now and like I like talking in voices here and there for my characters and practicing my accents for my characters and shit, but damn, he like can't shake it. Like imagine like being stuck in like a British accent and then not being able to get rid of it.
Well, it depends because I don't know how long it took to shoot this movie. I'm sure the statistics are somewhere.
Yeah.
But bare minimum, like I think one of the quickest movies I ever heard was shot was one of the Spider-Man Home movies.
Yeah.
I think one of them took like 4 months to shoot.
Wow.
Something really short.
Oh.
But the shortest movie you could really make is like 4 months.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time to be in one character mode.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think it makes... If this movie took like a year to shoot, I can understand why he can't get out of it now.
Right,
he committed like his life to being Elvis.
Especially because he wanted to get the voice right and get it down, so he just stuck to it, kept talking in his...
They got the perfect one, dude. I don't think anyone, like, the way Austin... Maybe there is one other person that could have done this role better, but... Austin Butler, give him his credit. Give him his flower. Like, this guy committed to being Elvis freaking Presley,
That's the takeaway from Elvis, then.
But everyone else, dude,
yeah.
all y'all are characters to me. Like, y'all are not real people.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least Elvis had a good performance. But hey, I just thought of something.
Word.
We haven't talked about how your birthday was yet. Your birthday was this weekend.
My birthday was? Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. I don't even know what to say, man. I was telling people for at least a year now. I was asking people questions like, how do you celebrate yourself? Because I feel like for anybody, celebrating yourself is such a weird idea.
Yeah. It's
a form of love that like we do not do enough of.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you should be able to celebrate yourself. So for me, not that my birthday was daunting. It just felt like, but it wasn't like a big thing on my itinerary of things to do.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, celebrate myself, like, whatever. Like, I don't need to be doing all that. I'm trying to be humble or whatever. So, not that I forgot about it, but I kind of was like, like I woke up today, I'm 23, whatever, great. But my birthday was fun, man. I'll just explain it to people really quickly. I woke up, so a week beforehand, or even like the day beforehand, you were just like, all right, Sean, we're going to wake up at like 9:30, just like trust. All right, we're going to just go places, you just got to trust. And I was like, you know what, whatever, like I'm here for the ride, so I think you woke me up at like 9:30.
Yeah.
And then we just started like going places, like back to back to back to back to back. I was confused. I was like, where are we going? You had like this whole surprise thing set up. So we woke up and I think we went to Starbucks first because you were like, oh
yeah,
did you know that you can get your free Starbucks drink?
It's funny because that's actually because Lauren kept reminding me about that. She's like, you guys should get Starbucks in the morning because it's like a free drink on your birthday.
Freaking crackhead. All love to Lauren, but it's true. She's like a Starbucks crackhead. It's kind of scary sometimes, but you gotta let it happen. You know what I mean?
So I was like, all right, and then
shout out to the Starbucks crackheads out there.
Yeah, and then she needed more time to set up, so I was like, all right, I'll just take you to Starbucks. So we walked to Starbucks,
and it was actually kind of lit, man. I get a free frap.
Yeah, it was a good call. It was a good call. Why not?
Enjoyed the shit out of that. Then we went to the park, hung out for a little bit, played some games just to get to know each other, and that was like really fun. That was nice. Like
we gotta play that new game.
We still gotta play. Yeah, I got this new Marvel. You said it was D&D style. Right?
It looks like it from the rule book. I don't know.
Oh, we still gotta play it, but it looks like a lot of fun.
What it is. It looks kind of like the game. Like it looks. Yeah, it looks kind of like it because we have like health bars and stuff, but I'm not entirely sure.
And the combat points.
Yeah, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it's like in a board game. It's not. Yeah.
But that looks like a lot of fun, so we're gonna try and whip that out at some point. Played some Uno. It was just nice, like having people around me that like they came out here like for me
to celebrate you.
To celebrate me. So then. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm like at some point, I guess we're gonna go back and just like chill somewhere, so like we can like play these board games later. And all y'all looked at me like, like yeah, sure, maybe. I was like, bro, what is like going on? Because I did not plan this day at all, and y'all have all the plans, and you're just like, you're playing loose and fast with everything. So I think what was the next place we went to? We head over to Sky Zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we couldn't. We had to like wait in the line.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ! What is with kids? Oh my god, I don't want to flame kids, but like,
what are these kids doing at the trampoline park?
I almost lost my shit on children, bro. I'm sorry, kids. I love y'all. I really do love y'all. But goddamn, like when there's too many kids, you know there's too many fucking kids, bro. Like why is there like 80 kids at this one trampoline park, filling up all these lines, doing everything, trampling over? I saw 2 of them wrestling each other in front of a sign that said no wrestling. Like y'all are some evil fiend demon. You know what I mean? Just like chaos.
We also waited in that long line just for them to be like, tickets are sold.
Exactly. All the parents are pissy. They don't want to bring their kid here, but they need to distract their kid for a day, so they brought him here anyways. Yeah. Just everyone's like in a pissy mood.
That's why we had to rearrange, because we were supposed to go to Sky Zone earlier, but then we could only get like the tickets for 4:30. So then we're like, all right, we got.
So then we switched the plan. Got some hot chicken.
Yeah, that was always a part of the plan. We just switched the location of the hot chicken. Yeah. So we went somewhere.
And actually, I really like that. I wish we could remember the names so I could tell everyone that spot, because I love the guy that works there. Yeah. And I love the food that's there.
It was like Nasty Hot Chicken or something. Like
Nasty Hot Chicken. It was in Van Nuys.
Yeah.
So
wait, what's it called? Like,
next episode, I'll try to bring up the name again, because I would gladly sponsor them. Because
it was good.
That shit was delicious. It killed me, but it was delicious.
Yeah, so Sean and I wanted to try like the challenge spice, so we got it, and like we slowly just like descended into madness as we we
are committed hot chickeners.
Took over our soul. Yeah. Like, I looked like Kylie Jenner is what I said. Like, I had, like, the lips.
Your lips were huge and red.
Like, they actually were. It was gross. Like, dude. I was like, what the heck?
I couldn't close my mouth, dude. I was like, I think I was crying a little bit, and then my stomach was in pain.
He brought us almond milk, but he also told us that, like, apparently regular milk is, like, not better for you when you have, like, hot chicken. And that's why hot chicken places don't sell milk, because it, like, fucks with your stomach or something.
Yeah, so apparently, and this makes sense because milk is a very weird thing with digestion and everything. Yeah. So milk as a chemical soothes the mouth, but it tanks your fucking digestive tract.
Right.
So he gave us water and he gave us almond milk, and like I think the mix of the two was very helpful, because the water was easing the digestive, like the belly, and then the almond milk was easing the mouth.
Yes. Yeah, because I would like drink the milk and it would give me like temporary relief because my lips were burning. Yeah. But then like my insides didn't really start burning until later.
That's the thing about hot chicken that people keep forgetting about. Like, it's a 2-step battle. There are 2 parts to this, all right? The first battle is in the mouth. That shit, you will not feel comfortable. You have to just accept that you're dying. You know what I mean? Then it'll eventually
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. You just have to accept defeat.
Exactly. But I feel like that battle is just a battle of comfort, of like letting your ego go. Yeah. But the battle in the belly, that's where the real fight starts. Because then you feel fucking sick. Like you're going to die. Yeah. And like that's if you can survive that, you can do anything.
Yeah, man.
You can do any fucking thing. So yeah, that hot chicken was hot.
It was good though. It was a good quality chicken.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know it was hot and spicy, but also just like the quality of the chicken, the flavor, the tastiness, the crispiness. Yeah. That shit is like top 2. Yeah. The only second place is this Hattie B's, honestly. Might still be, like, in terms of flavor, like, my favorite hot chicken. But this is close. It might even beat it.
But, I mean, shout out to that dude, because he, like, gave us, like, a half a tender each to try the hottest spice, aside from the meals that we got. Yeah. Like, he's like, you sure you want that? I'm going to give you half a chicken. Like, and we got to try the hottest spice, but then we're like, all right, we'll go down for our actual, like, sandwich. Man. And then we could enjoy our sandwich, and we got like 2 spices levels down, and it was like nothing. It was easy. It was like easy to destroy. So it's like it like jumps up, like the challenge level jumps up so drastically.
It's very dry. I feel like the 3-4 levels below it, those are ones just for flavor. Yeah. Right. But then the last one is like, that one's meant to kill you. Yeah. That was the goal of the last one.
And it was hot, man. It was good though. Yeah, it was good.
It was good, but that shit was like, oh, just thinking about it is like bringing some of the like memories of it back. Oh my god. Oh. Anyway, but we had fun in Sky Zone. Then we moved on to Sky Zone. Oh wait, I'm sorry. We moved on from Hot Chicken. Yeah. Went to go jump around in Sky Zone. Yeah. That was a lot of fun, man.
It was awesome.
Like, I mean, Sky Zone's a place to jump around and everything. Like, it's super dope. And we've talked about Sky Zone before. Yeah. But this particular place had this fighting arena thing where you stand on a balance beam with this bar. It was like a little like puffy bar thing.
Like jousting or something.
Yeah, it was like a jousting bar or something. Yeah. And then you just like fight people and try to knock them off of the balance beam. Yeah. And that shit
That was fun.
That shit was banging, bro.
Yeah.
When we were on that balance, because I versed you twice,
Yeah.
and it felt like I was in Star Wars.
I know, we made the lightsaber noises.
That shit was so fun. I go back there, honestly, just for that.
Yeah.
And even, like, battling the kid because there's a couple other kids in there running around. Like, that one kid that took it so...
That was
like,
so funny.
like, we were all, like, 20 or something, damn near some of us 30, and we're just having a good time.
Yeah.
This kid came here because he wanted to fucking murder people, bro. Like, he had the serious face on. He was ready to, like, get you off of that balance. He had tactics.
Yeah.
Like, he was strategic. Like, this kid wanted to murder somebody.
He, like, wanted to face us in, like, the jousting thing, but he wouldn't, like, look anybody in the eyes, so he would just get on the balance.
It was to give you a sense of fear, bro. It was a fear tactic. That's what I'm saying. Like, this kid came here to fight.
That was too funny.
And he's like 9 or something. He's like something crazy young, bro. This guy's like half my size, probably even less than half. And he's ready to murder people, bro.
Yeah, shout out to the kid in the tie-dye shirt.
Shout out to the kid in the tie-dye shirt, man. You dope. You goaded. And I wouldn't want to mess with you.
Never stop.
That's what I'm saying. Keep it up, bro.
Fighting.
You got it. Like, you got it. I don't know. We did some more bullshit, but I can't remember. We went back to like places just to shower and everything.
Oh yeah, right.
And then we head out to, oh my god, and this is my favorite part because I only mentioned this to you like twice.
Yeah.
And I said that kind of like, I kind of want to, because we were talking about things that we might want to do for our birthday and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I kind of want to go to the beach, but it was like kind of, sort of. I was like waving on it. And I wasn't really planning.
Earlier in the week too.
I did want to go, and there we were, but then we went to the beach.
We went to Dockweiler.
We went to Dockweiler Beach, had a bonfire, and I did say I wanted to do that. That was so nice, man.
It was great.
I don't know what it is about the beach. I don't know if I was like, I don't know if my soul or spirit is always connected to beaches or something, but beaches like bring such like an inner joy and peace out of me.
Yeah.
That, like I felt so like good and like connected with the earth and like seeing that ocean go into like nothingness and then just like existing on land. I don't know, it brings like something out of me. So it was really nice to have that. We were playing a lot of Drake songs. You know, I'm a Drake fiend.
It was like the day of the year.
It was really, having all of our friends there, that was really nice.
I liked watching the planes also like go off in the distance and like disappear into the
night
sky.
Yeah, the Dockweiler is right. I think it's right under LAX.
Yeah, so you just get a bunch of planes and shit. Like, all the time.
That was really nice, man. I had a fantastic birthday. I think I finally found the answer to like what it means to celebrate yourself.
Good.
I think it's through people that you can really fully appreciate yourself for what you are.
Yeah.
You know, because like when you are yourself, it's hard to really
narrow down.
See what you are to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like that night I saw that like what impression I had on other people, and that it was a good impression, and they were feeding that good positive energy that I put on them back to me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you know what? I'm pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like myself. I love myself. I want to celebrate myself.
Hell yeah. It was a good. I had a good time. I'm glad you had a fantastic time. It was fun, and I think they go crazy for birthdays out here. You know, like squad goes crazy,
stupid, man.
But it's nice because
don't mess with Lauren, bro. She is the goat.
Yeah, she's like the planet.
Like she doesn't fucking play when this comes to this birthday.
Oh no,
shit,
not
bro.
at all.
She really put her foot in it. So thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
She did some of the planning.
It's an extravaganza, but like. It's nice because like you kind of do get to spend the whole day how you'd like to spend it, but without even like knowing how it's going to be spent.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think surprising people add such a special magic to it that like it. You can be nothing but grateful for everything you get when it's a surprise.
Yeah,
because it's like you don't expect anything in the first place.
Right.
So the fact that someone would give something to you is like, wow, like thank you. Really,
right.
I can be nothing but grateful for the fact that you even brought me out here to fucking Sky Zone and Hot Chicken and the beach and like I was like, wow, we really had no time to like sit at the table.
I know.
Bro. My whole day was spent from morning to night.
Yeah, bro, that's how it be, you know? I mean, and it was a great time. It was really fun. I really liked listening to music, especially on the beach. That was really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, music on the beach is... It's a vibe, man. I gotta go back at some point to the beach. I love the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my birthday, dude. I love it. Also, I nuked all of my socials that day.
Yeah.
It's just time, man. So I lined up some of the promotional stuff for the album with my birthday, and it's good because the album for me is the first time I'm sharing who I am as a person.
Right.
So to share who I am as a person to the world, honestly and fully, I have to also shed away all the covers and the egos that I had beforehand.
Yeah, man.
So I feel like I'm killing myself to live again.
I feel like I agree. I feel like we have similar.
And when I say nuke my socials, I just mean like
deleting on his Instagram.
I deleted everything, man. Like all that shit in the past is gone.
I agree. I think we have the same concepts and we're expressing them in different ways.
We're expressing them differently.
Yeah, because I'm also starting to sort of do a sort of artistic transition. I feel like. But also just because I've been going through like a sort of, mental transition.
A Kevin Renaissance, if you will.
Sure, yeah. And I feel like it's just like, all right, the new era, like the new year, different types of art.
New era, pop it off, man. I really want to, this is the era where I really want to treat art not just as something that I want to do every day, but want to do career-wise. I really want to change the way I treat it.
That's my thing. Doing art is more fun, in my opinion, than doing anything else. So I feel like you really have to dive into it fully, to the point of sometimes you're not gonna be fully satisfied with your art, or you're not gonna love it at certain times. But it's about stumbling through the parts you don't like, so that you can get the overall fulfillment at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Remember, the journey is more important than the destination. And
way more important, man. I realized nothing in life is promised. Literally nothing in life. So the only thing you can promise to yourself is, am I doing right now what it is that I have wanted to do or want right now?
Are you being honest with yourself? Are you taking the next steps that you need to take? All that stuff.
Yeah, just be honest with yourself and do what you feel like is right for you.
Yeah.
If you're doing those two things, then there's not much else you can do.
Let the universe take control to a certain degree. Do what you can, and do what you want to do what you can, and try to do it as effectively as possible, and then let the universe take the wheel for the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can only control so much. So
and also share. That's another thing I've learned. As an artist, that's the half that artists don't like to talk about.
Yeah.
You have to share your art.
Dude, that's the thing.
Trash or not trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some things can be for practice or for you, and that's fine, but you got to share something.
Exactly. In fact, I know too many people that I haven't seen their stuff. I'm like, come on, show me your stuff.
Yeah, I know. Same thing, where it's I have all these artistic friends, but all of them are so afraid to show anything. It's well, if you're afraid to show, you can't really live an artist lifestyle if you can't turn it into a business if you can't show it.
You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, maybe it's ass. But that's okay. You learn from your ass. Does that make sense? Your ass will turn into fine ass. You feel me?
Yeah, I understand.
Your ass will turn into fine ass, but the only way to do that is that you gotta show us its ass, and we'll let you know.
Yeah. You learn, you grow, you do this, you do that. Only one way to get reps in, and that's by doing something.
Exactly, man. Commit to the failure. Commit to the art form. Commit to the emotions, but also let it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be willing to let your art go from yourself so you can grow from it.
Exactly.
So, on another note, I don't really know how to transition into this, but I just wanted to share this because I saw another movie.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw 2 movies in a day yesterday. I saw Spirited Away recently, which is a movie that's when you want to talk about art, Spirited Away is, I feel like it's art. It's not really like a movie. It is a movie, but it's movie as an art form.
Yeah, I remember when I first watched those, I was I used to be very, I used to say I didn't really like them because the plot was hard to follow and stuff like that. But I feel like if I gave them another chance, I might actually like them more, because I feel like now, more recently, I've been less worried about
less of a fucking brick.
A brick.
Sometimes, Kevin, when you think things, you think it like a brick would think.
What does that mean?
A brick can only be one thing. You know what I mean? It's a brick. It's it builds walls, and that's fucking it. So hold
on, I think you do the same thing.
I think I'm more like water. I'm willing to allow things to be what they are.
Oh, so I'm a brick and you're water.
No, you used to be a brick.
Okay, Mr. Kill the Ego. Okay, I'm just the water.
That's not my ego speaking, bro. I allow things to be what they are. I just had a whole thing about saying, like, I treat each movie differently because each movie wants to be seen differently.
Right, that's true.
I think I don't hate any song. Not really. I might not like certain songs, but I don't hate anything.
I know things that you don't like.
It's very few and far between.
There's a lot of things you dislike.
There are things I may not enjoy.
It's just a different type of dislike.
I don't think so. I can appreciate things for being unique in what they are. That's why I'm like, I think I'm more. I think you're capping right now
because I've heard you talk about a lot of things you don't like.
Don't get so defensive, man. Look, it's okay. You used to be a brick, and you're not a brick. It's okay.
I would say you're a brick in certain ways.
Look at this man getting defensive. It's okay. It's okay that you used to be a brick. I think I used to be a brick in the way I would create.
In the way,
but I've let that go now.
But you've let that go now?
Or at least I'm trying to. Perhaps not fully.
I don't know. It's starting to sound like you're on your high horse telling other people.
I'm not on my high horse. Like I'm just calling it as I is. Bro, hit up like anyone that knows you the way I do. Like Jacob, Ashley, they'll understand what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know. I think you're very stern in your way too, is all I'm trying to say.
Some things I'm very, like, when it comes to personal things, like, I have the way I want to live a lifestyle or enjoy things or do whatever, it is a very particular way. I've customized it to how I want it.
Yeah.
But
which means you can't really go with the flow sometimes because you like your own flow. And just because it's your own flow means you can't go with my flow. But the difference, sometimes our flows interact, so then you actually end up becoming more brick than me. And here you are sitting on your high horse telling me that I'm a brick.
See, let me explain. I do have my own flow. I have my own river, but I can respect and appreciate other people's flows. I feel like you are not just someone that has your own flow. You also feel like everyone else should understand that this is the flow. That's why I'm like, you're kind of a brick sometimes.
I don't know if that's true.
I think it's true, bro. I think the fact that you can even hate anything is like...
You hate things.
I don't hate a lot of things. I feel like you have a lot of things that you hate. All right, all right, that's me on my high horse. Okay, that is me on my high horse.
You're literally so egotistical.
I'll let that one go.
Like, you gotta calm down.
I'll let that one go.
You're
but I feel
so
like comparatively,
egotistical. Like you said, you kill your ego, and now you're talking this fucking high horse shit.
That's not high horse shit. I was just saying I'm letting things go.
Not really.
That's me letting go of things. I'm just also calling you how I see it. I'm being honest, which is also letting go of my ego.
It sounds like you're building up a more intense ego, like you always know what's right for people. Because sometimes what I will say about you is that you think you know what's best when maybe you don't.
I agree. I don't know what's best for everybody. I just know what's best for me. But I don't push it on people. I never push it on people. I feel like you push it on people.
You think so?
I think so. I think when you think something is right, you'll try to be like, this is right. Like, I remember one time, like... way back when, like, TikTok was getting big and you still weren't on TikTok, you were like, no, TikTok is trash. And you would let everybody know. Everyone has to know that you know that TikTok is trash. It's ridiculous. Yada da. Screw this. You were even a hater of, like, Timothy Chalamet was getting really big. And you were like, he's not that good. Like,
hold on. You're like, I never hated Timothy Chalamet.
You were like, he's not that good.
I thought Bones...
I feel like when people love things a lot, you're like, no.
No, you're making shit up now.
I'm not making shit up.
No,
I was at your house when we did this. I was at your house when I saw this.
What was the first example you had before Timothy Chalamet? TikTok? Yeah, I didn't want to get on TikTok because I was like, I don't get it, okay? Sure. Timothy Chalamet, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Timothy Chalamet, I have no opinion on. So I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
At your house, we were in the living room. The Timothy Chalamet thing came up, and you were like, I don't understand why people love Timothy Chalamet so much.
I didn't see him in any movie.
Which is why I don't understand how you can have an opinion on that.
I didn't. That's what I'm saying. You're just lying.
I'm not capping, bro.
Oh, my God.
I'm not capping.
You're capping, bro.
I'm not.
I literally didn't have an opinion on him
capping
until Bones and all.
You can say that you're that like I'm capping, and maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I'm telling you what I think right now, and I'm not capping.
It sounds like you're capping.
I'm not capping, bro. Like,
the thing is, like, I didn't see any movies with him, so I don't understand. I mean, I might have said, like, oh, I don't get the hype around Timothée Chalamet. That might be what I said. But sometimes when I say little things like that, you take it as, Kevin hates Timothée Chalamet.
No, like, but it's because you don't express it as calmly as you just did right now. You say it with, like, passion.
I think you just think that I'm more passionate about it than I am.
You say it with a lot of passion.
I'm not that passionate about Timothée Chalamet, believe it or not. I really don't care about Timothée Chalamet. I mean, he was fine. Like, I guess he did a good job in Bones and all. Like, it wasn't like...
I feel like he's done better in other movies.
Oh, so you hate him? See, that's what you do to me. You literally TMZ me all the time.
But sometimes you be going passionate. I'm not the only one that says that you be passionate on like things that you're like no on. You know what I mean? You be passionate sometimes.
Hey, passion is just another word for passion. I don't fucking know.
And like it just, there's nothing wrong with it necessarily. It was just you at the time, but it felt like there's not many things that you would change on. You know what I mean? I feel like now, I'm just comparing it to now, you are very, very flowy, where you accept a lot of new things, and you're willing to try a lot of new things, and you're finding what works best for you. I don't think you would have done that a year ago.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, sometimes you have to be okay with changing your mind on certain perceptions. But you could do a little bit more of that, too.
Oh. Maybe that's something that I need to work on, which is fine, but I think I already do that.
Because I'll say right now you're way more stern and put in your place, like, I have to do this than I am. I feel like I've been way more with the flow than like, recently.
More than me? If we're going to do comparing, I'll say sure.
Yeah.
I think you're super flowy now, which is nice, but, like, before, no.
Out here talking like you don't talk shit.
I do talk shit.
Yeah.
I never said I didn't talk shit.
I kind of made it sound like I'm the one that talks shit and that you're the one who observes.
That's not what I said. Why are you so defensive, bro? Why are you so defensive?
I'm just saying what happened.
That's not what I
said. I'm just saying how you said it. I'm saying how you said it.
Man. It's all on the tape. It's all on the tape.
I know it's all on the tape.
I did not say that to be like, oh, I'm better than you. I'm just seeing something and I'm calling it. That's all. And I'm just saying, like, the flowy. This is the flowy vibe, right? You've been flowy now. I don't think you've ever been flowy before. Maybe in an earlier life once or twice, but now you've fully committed to being in the flow. That's what I meant by saying you were a brick before, but you're not a brick now.
Interesting.
It's good.
I have to reflect now.
It's good,
you
man.
Just casually drop that on me. That's the thing.
I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought it was common knowledge. We were just talking about bricks and flows. You know what I mean?
No, you just told me I was a brick for my whole life. So now I'm like, damn, now I have to reflect on my whole life, you know?
It's not that deep, man. The past is something you cannot change. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, the past is something you cannot change, but it's something that you can always reflect on.
That is true.
So, whenever people try to, like, hit me with one of these, like, revelations, like, you know, I always like to show How I Met Your Mother, and there's this one episode where they're like, oh, you chew so loudly, and then it's, like, glass shatters in their minds, and it's, like, a realization. It's like, oh shit, do I chew loudly? And like, then they like reanalyze their whole existence because they're like, oh, was I chewing loudly the whole time? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you just told me that I'm a brick, right? And then I'm just like, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't even know what the fuck that means. And then there's like this glass shattering in my head, and I'm like, what the fuck even is a brick? And I'm like, a brick is somebody that, I don't know what, is hesitant to try something new or something like that? Because I feel like I've been trying something new.
A brick is someone who doesn't like... who is set in a certain way, and I feel like isn't willing to accept new inputs. Right? It's like you find out that 1 + 1 is 2 for the first time. You're like, there's no other way that you can put this equation together. 1 + 1 will always equal 2.
Oh.
Whereas... maybe like someone that's not a brick is someone that's accept. Well, what if there's a situation where 1 + 1 actually equals 3 or some shit like that?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It's like finding a truth and only sticking to this truth instead of accepting that there are other truths out there.
So you just wanted to wait for me to not become a brick before you told me I was a brick? Why don't you tell me that I was a brick when
You'd be defended. You can't tell a brick that they're a brick. It wouldn't help. It would not help. You have to slowly put up things into. Like, it's like telling a kid eat their broccoli, right? You can't. That's not gonna make the kid accept the broccoli anymore. Yeah. You have to slip it in really delicious dishes, and when they try it, and they're like, "Huh, you know what? I do like this." Then their mind opens up to it.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Interesting.
I think calling you a brick would have just been like, yeah, well, fuck you. I'm not a brick. You're a brick. Like, that's just what you would have said. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. I definitely think you're speaking from a place of existential knowledge that I don't think you have access to.
Existential knowledge.
Like, you're speaking as if you're like the Almighty who has all the
I am not the Almighty. How can I accept? I just
like, you do this. It's okay. I might be a brick, right? But you think you know the answer to everything.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I would be sure about a few things that I didn't like, but you're like, I am the all-seeing eye that knows the answer to everything. It gets annoying. And that's why I like being a brick sometimes.
Perhaps
it's
I
to counteract
in that way.
Ridiculous.
And sometimes I'll admit that I remember one time, I think one of y'all called it, because this is when I was like committed to being an early person and talking about like how much waking up early is so nice and this is like the way of life and shit like that. I think I brought it up and like you were like, sometimes you talk about being this early person like everyone should do it, and I was like, no, like not everyone has to do it. It's something for me. But then I said something that was like, something that'll slight you for not waking up early.
That's the thing. You kept doing that shit.
See, I only did that a couple times, and I saw, and like right after I did it, I was like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
That's what I'm saying. You're like, yeah, I don't need everybody to wake up early, it's just me. And then I would walk out of my room like a little bit later, and you'd be like, look who decided to show up. And I'm like, fuck you. I thought nobody.
I did that out of a joke.
No, but you did that every day, though. You did that every day. And then I started waking up before you a lot of the time, and then I started roasting you because I'm like, oh, look who decided to show up. I'm like, see how it's true. You know what I'm saying? It's an eye for an eye out here. You know what I'm saying?
It is an eye for an eye, man.
Yeah.
It is an eye for an eye, and like. I don't think I intentionally want to be on my high horse because again, I don't believe that I have the right way for everybody, and I don't believe that everyone should do what I do. I don't think I have the answers to everything. It's just that I'm very confident in what I figured out for myself, and I love the things that I have for myself. So I'm like, all right, if you're gonna ask me what I would do or would want or would this, would that, this is what I do for myself.
Sounds like you're defending the brick mindset. See how it's a circle?
When
it works for you, you turn it into a brick because you're like, it works, right? And then when that lifestyle stops working for you, the brick crumbles and you start flowing with the water. The little pieces of brick start flowing in the water until the brick becomes solid again because it finds a new place. You know what I'm saying? So maybe what was once a brick...
super ebb and flow.
Maybe what was once a brick for me crumbled, right? So I had to start going with the flow more until I found a new place to become a solid brick. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm the closest again to just a lifestyle that's starting to work for me than it's been in a minute. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you follow the lifestyle to a T, like since you were a kid, if you take everything you follow to a T, and it doesn't work out, and something just not quite right, you gotta change the recipe. You gotta spice something up.
I agree.
But then when you find a new lifestyle, obviously you're gonna be supportive of the new lifestyle if it's working for you, and you're gonna suggest that lifestyle to other people, therefore becoming semi more of a brick again.
I disagree because there's different ways of presenting it. I feel like there's the person that's found something that works for them, and if you ask them, they will give you what they have.
Yeah.
And then there's the person that pushes it on other people, right? It's like the difference between finding a Christian who just loves like Christianity or whatever, and that's for them. And then like if you ever ask them questions about it, they'll gladly like share what they know about it with you. Versus like Jehovah's Witnesses that are trying to like press their religion on you. Those are two separate people.
I understand.
I think the better lifestyle is to be the person that doesn't press your ideas on other people because no one has the answers.
Yeah. I can't agree on I can't disagree on a moral basis. But at the same time, sometimes if you need shit done, you have to start talking like you want to talk. You have to start walking like you want to walk. You know what I'm saying? Like if you need to like focus somewhere else creatively or whatever, you need to get going. You can't just wait for people to come around to your mindset. You need to start being like, whatever we're doing, whatever mindset we're on, it's not working, and this adjustment's working for me, maybe it could work for y'all too. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's like you find new knowledge that works for you in the universe, and you have to share it with people because you don't have to force it upon them. There's a difference between suggesting and forcing.
But so that's what I'm trying to explain. That like, what if the key that you feel like you found as right isn't actually right, and you come to it down the line that like, you know what, maybe that wasn't right.
Who's to say though?
Exactly, but who are you to say either? Who's anyone to say on anything?
Nobody. That's the point. That's why you might as well say something.
You can suggest it, but you
that's
cannot force
That's all I said.
Yeah.
And you were acting like I've been forcing people to do things.
I have not. That's not what I said. When did I ever say that? When did I ever say that? Bro?
You literally said that earlier today when you told me that I hated like Timothée Chalamet. You said I wanted to force other people to hate Timothée Chalamet.
Okay, you were forcing other people.
No, I wasn't. That's what you're like lying about. Because I dislike, and I don't even.
Can
dislike
I explain
Timothée
something
Chalamet.
in more detail?
Yeah.
When I meant that you were forcing on it, I meant that you were like, this is the truth. So I guess you were forcing it on people.
No, that's not what I was doing. And also, that's not even good. Let's talk about Drake.
Talk about Drake.
Let's talk about Drake. You love Drake.
I love Drake.
I don't like Drake.
Yes.
It became a sort of fueled competition, where the more you loved Drake or the more I disliked Drake, it would become exponential for each other. So the more, because I know what you're really talking about. You're really talking about Drake. You're not talking about Timothée Chalamet, all that bullshit. You're talking about Drake.
These are other examples, but Drake is the biggest one.
Yeah. And here's the thing, just because I don't like Drake, I think I'm passionate about my opinion, okay? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'll say my opinion, and people don't like my opinion. And that's okay. I'm okay with that, Sean. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if I say I don't like Drake, I don't really care if other people like Drake. It's more so that I like, roasting Drake.
But why do you like roasting Drake?
Because I don't like his voice. His voice bothers me. Mm-hmm. And I think he's overrated. Okay. Yeah.
And that's your opinion. Yeah. And that's fine. But the thing is that makes it strange is like, I don't know, there's no music thing that I really am not. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Miley Cyrus music.
Yeah.
But it's
You've roasted Taylor Swift a bunch of times. You're
like, do not publicly say that.
You publicly said shit about me, so why can't I publicly say shit about you? You said I don't understand why girls listen to Taylor Swift.
But but I feel like you're TMZing it because you're not giving it the full detail.
Play the game. If we're playing the game, play the game.
You're not giving the full detail. That's all I'm saying.
Play the game. If we're playing the game, play it.
All right. If we're gonna play the game,
match me if you're playing the game.
I'm saying I'm not gonna look. Don't TMZ it. I'm just saying put a little bit more information.
I was trying to tell you not to TMZ.
I was saying I don't understand the love for Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift has not reached me the way other people have found Taylor Swift.
That's all I fucking said about Timothée Chalamet.
But that did not mean I dislike Taylor Swift.
That's what I said about Timothée Chalamet.
That is not what you said about Timothée Chalamet. That's not what you said. That is not what you said. You were like, no, bro. Timothée Chalamet, like he did not earn that.
I did not say that.
You say that.
I did not say that.
You say it about Drake. You say it about Timothée Chalamet. You said it about TikTok. No, we're in a deep conversation right now. You said it about TikTok, and then you realized TikTok was fun, and now you're back on TikTok.
You're capping.
I'm not.
You're a serial capper.
This is like me, like so serious.
You're a serial capper.
I'm not capping, bro. People will back me on this. People will back me on this. I never
hated Timothée Chalamet. I have no fucking idea what you're talking about right now. Like no idea. You're literally capping. I said nothing worse about Timothée Chalamet than you just did about Taylor Swift. It's the same level. It's the same level. And also, I didn't see him in any movies, so I said less about Timothée Chalamet than you said about Taylor Swift. So now you're just TMZing me, making me look like this ridiculous human. Like, it's absurd.
But that's what I'm saying. You're really that ridiculous.
No, it's not. You're that ridiculous. You're like gaslighting me or some shit right now.
I'm not gaslighting you, bro. I'm telling you how I see it. Okay?
Well, I'm telling you how I see
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to accept that. I don't feel like sometimes you're willing to accept that you're wrong.
I'm willing to accept that a lot of the time.
Are you willing to accept that right now? That maybe you're wrong and I'm right?
Maybe you're wrong. Are you willing to accept that?
See, you're doing the defensive thing. I'm willing. I just said it before. Right? I just said it 20 seconds before.
I'm willing to accept that.
I'm willing to accept that maybe I'm wrong and maybe I am capping. Okay? I feel like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm sure on this. But maybe I'm wrong. Are you willing to admit that?
Who the fuck was the one, by the way, when you started bringing up Spirited Away, saying that on rewatch, I might actually enjoy it? Who the fuck was the one to say that?
That's why I said you used to be a brick. Used to.
Oh.
Used
So why are you focusing on the past? I thought we couldn't change the goddamn past, asshole. What the fuck is your problem?
I didn't think it'd be a whole thing.
Like, you see the problem?
I didn't think it'd be a whole thing.
I thought we weren't gonna focus on the past. Now you're fucking.
I just brought it up like you. I was just saying.
Why don't you
as an observation? I feel like you wouldn't have done that in the past. That's why I was like, you used to be a brick. I didn't mean it like it was like let's focus on the fact that when you were a brick. Like no.
Oh no, it just kind of sounds like Kevin, you're chill now. You used to suck.
You didn't used to suck.
It just kind of.
You were just different now. That's what I'm trying to say. You're different now, which you agree.
Do you see my point?
I do see your point. I kind of said that, and the way it comes like so nonchalant, it feels like a slight.
I was in the middle of talking about how I might enjoy the movie now on rewatch, and then you just start going into me being a brick and how I hate everything.
Okay, I said it really quick.
I was trying to have a nice conversation about a movie,
and then we focused on that.
You had to slight me. Like, what's that all about?
Okay, and I see what you mean about the high horse. Because it came across as a slight.
And I know, like, you like playing the butler and Alfred, and like, I'm not gonna give you this letter for 6 years, but it's like, bro, when are you gonna realize that you might not have all the answers, and maybe I have something.
I don't. I've accepted that.
But you act like you have all the answers.
But that's why I don't.
You act like your lifestyle's better than everybody else's.
That I don't fully understand. That I have to understand better.
Yeah.
When I said that, I didn't see it as a slight. And I'll admit maybe it's wrong because I can see from where you're sitting, it's like if you said that to me, I'd be like, well, hold on now, like, what you mean by that?
Right.
And I feel you, and I apologize for that, but I didn't mean to say that as like, oh yeah, by the way, Kevin, fuck you, and I'm right. Moving on. I meant that just like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this time that you were like this, and now you're like that.
Yeah.
Didn't mean it to slight you.
Okay.
I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has really the answers. I'm just finding answers that work for me. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to find what works for me.
That's all I'm trying to say,
man. And if you're curious, I'll let you know.
But you also did contradict yourself because you said don't focus on the past. So, but then you were focusing on the past.
I just brought it up as like a note of like, oh yeah, like this thing happened, but like moving off.
But then you had to dig it in the hole. You had to punch that shit in.
Okay, because you wanted to keep asking about it. I was like, all right, wait, hold on. What do you mean by the whole brick thing? I was like, well, you want to get into it. I mean, I'll get into it. You feel me?
You know, Sean.
I'll get into it.
Sometimes I feel like there are certain things that should be implied that you just don't agree to.
What? What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean by that?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes like there's a certain level of there's a certain level of things that like there's a certain level of things that there's like a line that you just don't cross sometimes. But then sometimes you just cross it, you know?
I don't see a lot of these lines. And this is something I've always had issues with.
Yeah.
I feel like there are lines in a lot of sands, right? I don't know where they are. It feels like, what's the word? You know, the mines that are in the ground, like the hidden mines? It feels like that, where I don't know where to cross. So I'm just like, fuck it, I don't know where it is. So I'm gonna just step wherever, and if it blows up, we'll work around it. You know what I mean? Right. We'll situate it later. But I don't know where a lot of these social lines are. That's why I just be saying whatever.
I like that mindset to a certain degree because it's like, how can you draw a social line, especially when you're like outside of high school? Because like in high school, it's so easy to draw like a social line. Because like
what?
Because there's so many people and there's so many rules and there's so many he thinks, she thinks. There's so much of that. There's so much gossip and deciding right and wrong, right? And then in college, you start having like a less close circle. So you start thinking like, okay, this line of right and wrong, I can't really draw it that much anymore. And then
I was struggling to even find that line in high school. There's just no way I'm finding it now.
Yeah, and then now that we're like, you know, just kind of in like the world, it's like, how the fuck are you supposed to know right and wrong?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we raised to think that there's like a right and wrong way to do things? Yeah. And then you just, I don't fucking know, man. Like, what the fuck? Why does everybody think they have all the fucking answers?
Yeah. You know
what I'm saying?
I hate that.
And here's my thing. Like, with the shit, you know, back in the day, it's not, I wasn't trying to act like I had the answers. I just was confident in my opinion. You can always be confident in your opinion. Like, I think people a lot of the times mistake it for, me acting like my opinion is correct. I mean, obviously my opinion is correct to me if it's like what I like from an artist. No shit. And I'm not afraid to express that. You know what I'm saying? For some reason that bothers people. I don't know why.
And you know what? I think I'll agree with you. And this is another thing with the lines. I think there was and I'm trying to word this very safely, but I might fuck this up. All right? There's a thing about the line crossing, and like I don't really see where the line is. I think you have a similar thing where it's like there's a line on how you express your opinions on certain things, and you cross the line of like, wait, is it just his opinion, or is he saying like this is a matter of fact and I have to battle him for this now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like that line sometimes you'll cross and be like, okay, wait, well, hold on now.
You know,
what do you mean by this?
For somebody who's very, although I might seem like very competitive in certain ways, I feel like I'm also like the least competitive person of all time.
What do you mean by that? Explain.
Like, yeah, I like being competitive in board games.
You get that. If your veins pop, you're too competitive.
I see. That's your opinion, and that's fine.
That is my opinion.
That's the thing. I'm fine. That's the thing. I'm fine with you having an opinion on that.
Oh, thanks.
But here's the thing. Like, when it comes to like casual conversation or any conversation for that matter, I feel like I'm able to usually not get in an argument with people.
Yes.
I don't usually fight with people. I'm pretty, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty like, you know what I'm saying? So like the only people I really like fight with are a lot of times like the people that are really close to me because I'm willing to express my opinion with them. So it's actually a measure of how close I am with you if I'm that harsh about it.
I see.
It might seem like it's like reverse because it's like, why are you hating? But it comes from a place of we're homies.
It comes from a place of love.
Yeah,
the reason why I can share my hate with you now is because of love.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, the closer you get with someone, the more they tell you that they don't like and shit like that.
Yeah, not everyone deserves to have your opinion.
Yeah, and I didn't give it to everyone. Like, the people that you're referencing to, that you could go to say that I'm a brick or whatever, are all going to be people that are extremely close to me.
That's true.
It's not going to be anybody else other than that.
That's true.
See what I'm saying? You're going to talk to my sister. Like, no shit my sister's going to roast me. It's my sister. Sisters are supposed to roast their brothers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That being said, we have plenty of friends that like roasting plenty of things.
It's true.
So,
no, everyone has their thing that they like to flame.
Exactly.
I just feel like there's a way to present it that you do understand, and you're sharing the fact that you do understand that you don't have the answers.
You could.
That's also a fact.
There's no answer.
That's
what
fact.
I'm saying. I'm just saying there's literally no answer. So it's like to pretend like there's a like. Here's what I'm saying. There's no lines at all. So it's like, why draw them to a certain degree? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can only like take what context we have from people with like the limited amount of information that we have from them, right? Like, I don't know a lot about like a lot of people, but we can sit here and banter about, you know, who's right and who's wrong. We do that shit for fun, bro. No, neither of us are right. Neither of us are wrong.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just mildly entertaining. That's it.
What do you mean by entertainment? What do you mean by that?
I don't know. We both have differing opinions, so you debate it. That's all that it is. I'd rather debate, like, if Drake sucks over, like, some boring shit.
Ouch, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, see your point.
It's more fun.
It depends on the debate.
Yeah, you and I go for a long time.
The thing is, because, like, for a lot of things, I try to not, like, have a debate on just because I don't feel like I have a solid opinion on.
Yeah.
But if you come at me when I have a time of day, I won't shake on my point. Like, I will. I'm willing to go the long mile on it.
I know you will. I know.
Somebody called me the other day. I think it was Henry. We were talking about
Henry Ross.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We were talking about music, and because you know we have I won't leak anything, but we've been working together on some shit.
Yeah.
And we were sharing opinions on certain things. I think it was actually about Drake. He tried to say something slight. I was like, look.
You're so protective of Drake, bro.
Like, look. Just hear me out, all right? Just hear me out. And I try not to be overly
Like,
protective.
you take it personally.
Because some days I'll just be like, whatever. You can say whatever. You know what I mean?
You take it personally when people talk shit about Drake.
I try not to take it personally because it's not like...
You literally played a Drake song like every week on your story to at me when I told you.
Okay, it's because what you said wasn't a slight at Drake, it was a slight to me. I wasn't happy.
Alright, fair enough. I was roasting you for being...
You were roasting me for liking Drake, which I could not tolerate. Okay, that was not okay.
That's fair enough.
So,
it was funny. It was funny.
But, like, if you have whatever opinion about whatever artist, there's tons of people in the world that think Drake is the worst artist in the world. I don't give a shit, alright? Personally, I love the guy. So it's like, I'm cool with that. But if you're going to ask me for my opinion or you want to get in a position where you want to have a discussion with me about it, you know where I stand, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big Drake fan. Of course I'm going to defend Drake.
You know,
that's how it goes.
You know the fight you're picking. You always know the fight you're picking.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say with the Henry Ross thing. Like, he slighted him in a way where it wasn't like he was slighting him. Yeah. He was trying to slight me. Because he was saying something like, oh, you know, you try to rap like how Drake raps, like, you know, very poppy and all that, which I don't feel like I rap like Drake.
I feel like you do not rap like Drake.
I actually don't rap like Drake. You don't. But you try to bring it up to slight me, so I was like, oh, okay. I have time of day if you want to fight. So it got to a point where he was like, look, man, I'd love to have this conversation with you, but, like, I don't have all day. And,
that's
like,
my thing, bro.
Like, dude, don't pick a fight with me. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I feel the same way. Like, when you talk about my brick mindset, it was the same thing. It was like... I liked what I liked. If people tried to roast it, you know, I was a big Chance fan. People tried to roast me all the time for being a Chance fan, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was overnight too. It was just that one album that came out.
Yeah, I just like really liked like Coloring Book and Acid Rap. And then when the big day come out, like the next day, people were like, "Oh, you're a Chance fan, ha ha ha," and I'm like, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I take the heat from Chance, I put the heat on Drake. I take the heat from this, I put the heat on that. Who gives a fuck? You see what I'm saying? It's like,
who gives
better your energy spent in that, your anger spent in that expression than some other way. Like, it is, like, better than most ways. I mean, nowadays...
It's better than most, yeah.
Nowadays, I kind of have a different way. I just kind of like listening to songs. Like, if there's, like, some sort of anger in a song, you can just, like, listen to that and just, like, observe it in your bed and just, like, feel the emotion and shit. Mm-hmm. But, like... Before, it's like just kind of talking a little bit shit here and there is kind of fun, you know, spilling the tea, doing this, doing that. But now I don't really care because it's like, you know,
I feel like it's a waste of energy.
Yeah, but you're the one who got me on this like new mindset, and it's like I feel like now you're telling me to slow down on it sometimes.
Sometimes I am like slow down just because of. Just fear, you know? Because, again, with anything, you never know where the line is.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see, like, hold on, let me feel out for if this line is about to be crossed or something.
But then it's your line.
Yeah, it's my line.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be your line.
Right.
I'm just looking out for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to... Your good friends are always, I think, trying to look out for you and try to find the line for you. And, yeah, sometimes all of your friends are fucking wrong and they don't understand that.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But, you know, I think there's nothing wrong with friends looking out for each other.
I agree. A lot of people, like, let their anger build up and then just don't have conversations, and then they lose long-term friends. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. I feel like if you let that shit build up, how good of a friend were they?
That's what I'm saying.
A good friend will let you have your hair down in front of them, and it won't matter. Like, you should be able to express...
yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be friends with somebody. You just have to sort of be a little bit patient here and there with them, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, be a little patient. So, again, this is all just a result to no one has any fucking answers for anything.
Yeah. Everything's
just weigh it as it comes. A friend says this, an enemy says that. A stranger says this, you say that.
Everything's the exact same. Nobody has any answers.
Exactly. You just gotta say what feels right at the time. And if at some point, if X amount of friends... Because you also gotta weigh everything a certain way. Because for me, if all my friends say a certain thing, and they all have my, my good intentions, maybe I should start weighing what they're saying a little bit more.
Right.
Whereas, like, if sometimes even if all my friends say something, but I have found this truth in this one thing, and I've got to be like, nah, man. Like, I found the definitive truth on this. Like, I believe this to be right. I'm going to commit to it. You just gotta weigh everything differently.
Yeah, you gotta change the recipe until the recipe works.
Yeah.
Right now, the recipe that we've been using is the only thing that's worked for me since I was like 18 years old. Like, it's just like so much more fun than anything college related or anything like that. So I want to keep it up, but it feels weird. It feels like weird being like vulnerable publicly, because like you have to like use your like emotions
And sell it.
Yeah, you have to like use
Goes back
your
to being an
emotions
artist, man.
and like sell it, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how am I supposed to like express myself and just like let it out or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But then that's kind of like the way to get the best art, and it's also the most like rewarding. But sometimes I just like listening to the scats that we do like by myself, because I'm like, well, I said it perfectly. Like, I know I said it perfectly. It makes sense, you know? And a lot of times, like, when we do a scat, and I'm like, yeah, doesn't that make perfect sense? And you're like, no, that makes no fucking sense. It's helpful and unhelpful. Because it's like, in one way, I'm like, okay, I need to make this more translatable. And in another way, I'm like, well, I'm clearly fucking crazy. And I feel like this is the tiring part about becoming a poet. You know what I'm saying?
Because you got to deal with how you see your art versus how anyone else sees your art.
Yeah.
And you have to weigh what's more important at every step.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty good at going with the flow and having any interpretation now. Like when we had Baba come, who's going to be on Leaving Saturn, like he came over.
Timmy Torch, check out his album. I think it's called Zodiac Signs. It's on all platforms.
Ooh, Zodiac Signs. That's a cool name.
It's pretty cool. Like, the album is about like, because he's an astrologist, so he follows a lot of the astrology stuff. I'm a man of science, but I can respect the craft.
Yeah. And
he does a whole album kind of following like these different signs and like their meaning and like what does it bring out of people, and it's really good.
He's a man. He's a man. The grind doesn't stop. He's on the music game all the time, you know, like writing, doing all this stuff.
He's a writer. Like, I know people that write. This guy, he said something, I guess I won't share his techniques, but he writes a lot, like bare minimum every day of his life. Yeah. And that's crazy to me.
And he knows what he's talking about. He's cool. And, you know, we gave him this chorus that we wanted him to come up with a verse for. And he came up with an awesome verse for it. And I realized, like, that when I came up with the chorus, I had a different theme in mind. I was thinking of it more in terms of, like, existential, like, existence almost when I came up with the chorus. And he came up with it in terms of, like, business almost. But I realized, I was like, both are true. Like, you know, this chorus has to do with when you've gone across the line. How do you know when you've crossed the line? And you can cross the line in business, and you can cross the line in arts, and you can cross the line in life, like existentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can cross the line in romance. You can cross the line in school. You can go too much into the grind and lose.
That's what I wanted to do when I first came out to LA. I was like, I want to become like the most A student, like only focus on grades and shit, and have no fucking friends. Like, be like that weird guy that's committed, end up having so many friends and not as focused in school.
Yeah, I definitely had a few friends in college, but for the most part I stayed like very, very busy, I feel like, with the work, which is funny because still like my other friends seemed like they had a lot of more homework a lot of the time because I was like an art major, I guess. But I felt like a constant grind for like 4 years, and now it's like finally off that grind, and it's like what now, you know? Just gotta find yourself a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about coming out of college is just you're just thrown into the world. You just like figure it out. It's like I don't fucking know. Like, you know, I'm trying. So, but I think just the fact that you're trying, that's good enough. That is good enough. People should understand that they are good enough.
Yeah, everybody's good enough.
Even my worst enemy. Fuck y'all, but y'all are good enough.
Yeah.
Real quick, I don't know how to segue this one either, but just want to talk about like the podcast, and what it's done for us as people.
Yeah.
Before we started this podcast, I was like, I've always known that we had to do a podcast eventually. Actually.
I know. Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Because so many people have come up to us and been like, "Yo, your conversations, I can listen to that forever." I hear that all the fucking time. We're like, "Yo, you and Kevin just like talking about whatever bullshit. Like, I can just like listen to that shit, and y'all just like, yo."
People have actually told you that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that.
It's weird. It's not weird. I love it. I appreciate the hearing that, but I don't know, something about the way we discuss things, I think we can do it better than most.
I think so too. And here's the thing, like, we're not perfect. Like, we clearly just fought.
That's why we're so good, because we're so incorrect and imperfect.
But yeah, that's part of the reason it works, right?
Yeah.
But I took this like philosophy like 100 classes, like a gen ed in college, right? Uh-huh. And there's just like one quote, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but the teacher gave it to me from one of these like famous philosopher guys. And it's like, when discussing philosophy, assume that the person you're discussing with has the best intentions in mind. And the reason that you're supposed to do that is because why would you assume otherwise? It's kind of like unhelpful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in the world want to, like, they want to cause you harm, and they want to get in a fight with you and shit. But a lot of times, like, just meeting people with a level of like a level head or like kindness is kind of like the best way to approach most people. So yeah, there have been a few people I met recently that kind of give me an edge when I first meet them, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, you know,
who are you trying to kill? Yeah, some people just have like, I don't know if it's trauma or someone hurting them, but some people walk around like they're hurt, and because they're hurt, they're going to hurt somebody.
Yeah, and we're so frank with each other that at this point, we're okay with bringing up... That's another thing, like, you got to be okay with bringing up issues with close friends.
Yeah, I want everyone to know that even though we just fought, like, it's a healthy fight.
Right.
I don't feel like...
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and be like, oh, man, fuck Kevin. Start slighting you.
Because we live together.
There's nowhere to run.
Yeah, it's like you have no idea how many, like, conversations about, like, Drake and we've had on, like, the PS4
I feel like Drake is the most consistent one.
Yeah, Drake is the most consistent
one. But we've done a lot of other ones.
It's stupid that Drake is... That's the funny thing, though. That's what you have to laugh at.
I think it's just because we have such polarizing opinions that it has to come to head.
But on your birthday, I listened to as much Drake as you wanted. Because it was your birthday.
It was nice.
And you know what? I enjoyed the act of hearing the thoughts that you frequently put in your head, if that makes sense.
You know what? I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So I had a good time while I was doing it.
That's nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is the music that fills my head most of the time.
Exactly.
But I have other songs.
I understand why you're so defensive because, especially when I've been getting more into music, it's like you play these things in your ears and they reassure you that your thoughts are validated and that you should be thinking the way you are, kind of.
Interesting.
And so I think when people diss Drake, you're like, what the fuck, you're telling me that my feelings shouldn't be validated. You're saying that I never thought about it that way before, so I didn't understand why you're defending Drake so much. I was like, it's just kind of mid, why you love it so much. But then you're hearing his like words, and they like mean a lot to you, when I wasn't really listening to his words before. So I feel like I really got to like listen to his words on your birthday and hear you a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, and again, like, I pick my battles with Drake. It's just like, for me, I'm starting to get into a phase where like a lot of the people I idolize are either like dead or have changed for the worse.
Yeah.
Right now, I think Drake is like my only idol. The only person that like I feel like he figured out how life should be or can be, and I want to emulate what he does. I think I look up to Drake.
You have to find like someone to like look up to, or like
everyone needs a role model. I think it's really important. Everyone needs someone to look up to.
It's so hard at this point in life to like decide like who your role model should be. Like, who is the closest thing to you that is also successful, right? That's so difficult.
It's so difficult.
Especially as multimedia artists like you and I, where we like switch. Like, we go from the podcast to the songs to movies. Like, it makes me look at artists like Childish Gambino and be like, okay, well, he's making Atlanta, he's making music, he's doing everything. You know, he did stand up in the past. Like, he's a good inspiration for me because he does so many different art forms. Another one is like Jon Favreau, because he acts and he also like directs movies and stuff like that.
He's good at directing, dude.
Yeah.
I really like Jon. Is it Favreau or Favreau?
I think it's, I don't know actually, but I think it's Favreau.
Favreau.
And then another one is Lin-Manuel Miranda, because he also acts and he just like and he does like, you know, he performed in Hamilton, he wrote Hamilton, all that stuff. Like, but it's like, damn, sometimes when you look at the top of the game, it still seems like so far away. So
yeah, it looks pretty far, but that's why it's important to find things that resonate with you, because like, at least for me, I didn't have my father in my development period, and I still don't have him really now. We're on good terms. Not like we're on bad terms, but he's not an active participant in my life.
yeah.
So I have to find my role models in other people. And the person that like makes the most sense, that like speaks to what I resonate with and want to do, is Drake. So when I hear people shit on Drake, right? And again, like, I don't really give a shit if you don't find the reasons why Drake is so great.
Right.
But sometimes it feels like people hate on him with such like passion, and I don't understand how you could hate on like honestly any artist with passion, because it's like they're just doing, especially Drake. Drake is not like Kanye, where like he'll attack people and say things about certain groups and do this and do that. Like, he just kind of just comes out here, makes a bunch of music, does a bunch of interviews on occasion, and then goes back into his hidey hole, make more music. Like, he's not very problematic. So I understand for someone that like isn't so problematic, people have such strong opinions on. That's what I'm like, guys, like,
well, when you're at the
take
top,
it down a notch, you know what I mean?
When you're
like,
at the top of the game, like, you're gonna get scrutiny because, like, for me, like, there's nothing, for me, a lot of times when I listen to Drake, I feel like his voice sounds the same in every song, I feel like his flow sounds the same in every song, and I feel like he's not changing anything, but I feel like it's still working, and that's the thing that frustrates me as an artist, because I'm like, man, like, this doesn't speak to me, so like, how is he like at the top of the game? You know what I'm saying? It's like this doesn't speak to me. Like, who is this speaking to? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of my thought on it. But like, I think recently, since I have been more flowy, maybe it's like, I'm like, okay, I think I can understand why he resonates with some people. It's more so because of his like mindset or like words than his sort of actual instrumentation or something like that, because he doesn't really do the instrumentation, right? He doesn't like make the beats and shit. He's a
bit of a DJ, but he doesn't make the beats on hand.
Right, so it's more about them, because you say you don't usually listen to words, but with Drake, I'm sure you do.
That's what I'm gonna say. With any other artist, I can barely hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's not resonating like instantaneously.
Yeah.
With Drake, it's one of the few people where like I can actually hear what he's saying.
And that's what you said you understood about Taylor Swift, that you think girls listen to Taylor Swift's words more so than the instrumentation a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, just because, and again, like, part of it is that I don't really connect with like pop music. I know Drake is a pop star, but like, he's a pop star in the sense that he takes a bunch of different sounds, like hip-hop or Afro beats or dance hall or whatever, and then he'll just, like, make that into a big song.
Right.
But that pop sound, like, from the Justin Biebers, One Directions, Taylor Swift in the more later career, and some of the others, Katy Perry, like, that sound is harder for me to resonate with, because it feels like the productions are very simplistic, they're expected, and they're very like happy or like joyful.
Yeah.
And like I don't, it's harder for me to connect with that.
Yeah.
So already I feel like someone like, I don't want to shit on Taylor Swift, because I actually like, I respect her as an artist. She's not like in my top listens at all, but I respect everything that she does. But I can see that, okay, if you're not listening for that production sound or any, like, dark, moody thing or anything, you're listening to what these artists are actually saying, I do think Taylor Swift is, like, she's a good writer.
She's good, man. I mean, like, yeah, my favorite one is Our Song, I think. I like that one a lot.
Our Song?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't listened to enough yet. I'm still trying to go through the Taylor Swift discography.
Yeah.
But I feel like All Too Well.
Yeah, it actually is. It is
right
good.
now.
I've definitely sat through the 10-minute version one too many times. But it's good.
People bring up that 10-minute version like it's no problem, bro. They're like, they are in it.
Like, when you're like shoved, when you don't ask to be given an artist and people keep shoving it in your face, it's overwhelming. And that's the same as Drake. That's part of the thing. That's part of the thing. It's like, stop. I don't want to hear any Drake. So you make it a PSA that you don't want to hear any more Drake. It comes out of a genuine, like, not wanting to hear it.
But I don't feel like we hear Drake.
He's played everywhere, bro. He's played in, like,
It's ironic because I feel like he's not played, and I guess it all depends on ears, right? I'm looking for more Drake, so I feel like there's not enough Drake. And you're listening for, like, no Drake, so there's still too much Drake.
I'm not even listening for no Drake. Just, like, when I hear his voice just, like, something about it irks me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I really like his voice.
There's some, like, frequency in his voice that, like, really bothers me.
It's, like, it's, like, a weird... Like, I think him as a singer and as a rapper, there's no one that really sounds like him.
Yeah. He just... I don't even know how to describe, like, the sound of his voice.
It's just his voice. It's just his, like, weird... That's Aubrey Graham's voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I told you my favorite voice is Chance's. Like, my
Chance is a nice voice,
My favorite voice was based on simply what sounded the best in my ears. And Drake, I don't like his voice. But I love Chance's voice.
I have a very, like... old memory of us, and this is before I was a Drake fan.
Yeah.
This is when I was just like casually listening to Drake as like you listen to any artist at the time.
Yeah.
And I was a big Eminem fan actually. But I remember I was trying to show you the song Miss Me. I was like, bro, like this song is so good. And you're like and this was like when we were young, because this was like 2010, this was like middle school era, maybe elementary school era. But you were like, yo, why are you rapping so slow? Like, what is this song, bro? I think forever, you never liked Drake's voice. That's just something that doesn't work for your
That's
ears.
what I'm saying.
But for me, I'm like, bro.
Especially when you, like, get in the AirPods and it gets all, like, up close and personal. And if you just, like, don't like somebody's voice, like, voices are so important for me. Like, in many ways, okay? Mm-hmm. Like... I realized recently that my favorite sense is hearing, okay? More so than seeing, okay? Like, and when I say hearing, I mean, like, everything about your ears, right? Like, it's almost, in a way, it's almost like touch, too, because, like, the vibrations, you know what I'm saying? But that's also, like, you know, tied in with hearing in a way, even though it's more like feeling.
Vibrations, that going quickly enough is just sound.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean, they're all connected.
So like, for me with people, I like need to like their voice. I need to like want to hear their voice. To have them around me like a decent amount of the time. I know it sounds weird, but like, it's true. Like if you have a great voice, I definitely want you to be around. I mean, I know it's like maybe like selfish or something. But it's, or like weird, but it's like a lot of people keep people around just because for looks. Like, why can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm not saying I'm keeping people around just for their voice. If you're like an asshole,
TMZ about to get us for this one.
They are.
They're about to get us for that.
I'm not saying keep somebody around just for their voice. Okay, like I would not like keep somebody in my life if they were like an asshole to me just because they had a nice voice. That was true. I'm just saying a lot of people's like first like their thing they're in love with most is somebody's like how they look. Yeah, I think voice might be above looks for me. Maybe it's close, but I think it might be voice. What about you? And don't give me that personality bullshit. Like, just tell me how it is.
I almost gave you some personality bullshit.
I'm
going to tell you how it is. I'm about to tell you how it is, all right? But I'm going with just how I feel.
It's obvious. Like, it's obvious. Once you get to know somebody, their personality is what matters most. We all know that. What I'm asking you at a base level is, like, from somebody else, what attracts you most about a human? Before you get to know them.
Before you get to know them. Here's the thing with me, man. I feel like looks aren't that big of a thing for me. Like, obviously, there's a point, right? There's like, it's like a, what's the word? Like a bell curve thing.
Right.
If you're ugly, then like you're ugly, right? No one wants you around. But no, that was pretty hard.
You're about to say anything. I'm gonna get TMZ.
But I'm trying to, TMZ about to get me for that, bro. But it's like, look. but most people aren't actually ugly.
Yeah.
It's actually rare to find an ugly. I've met a lot of people in my life. I have not really met anyone so ugly that I don't want them around.
A little effort can go a long way.
Yeah, just a little bit of effort. Just getting up and even doing your hair or something, or picking out an outfit. Picking out an outfit in general.
Yes.
You look good to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I mean ugly, I mean like people that don't take care of themselves.
And a lot of times that type of thing comes out of depression and anxiety. And
stuff. That comes out of other even more serious issues.
Yeah.
But it is a repellent. If you are ugly, and by my definition of ugly, all right, don't TMZ this.
Right. So Sean's saying
horrific
nobody is ugly, but put effort in, and then that's the solution to not he's saying effort is attractive.
I'm saying if you think you're the person I'm talking about, you're probably wrong. I think most people are actually pretty attractive look-wise.
Yeah.
It's just there are those people that have given up on how they look.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Those people, I'm not attracted to at all. I don't want you around me, right? So that's one step. But then, sound? I think most people sound okay. You know what I mean?
Really?
Most people sound pretty good. There are people that sound hideous, horrendous, you know what I mean? Sound like a freaking clown or something. And yeah, sure, I'm repelled by those people, but most people also aren't those people.
Oh.
What really attracts me is things people say.
Oh, not the way they say it though.
Also, do you mean attraction in
I'm talking about
having people around me?
Innate human nature. What is the thing when you meet a girl and you're like, oh my gosh. It could be her looks, or it could be her voice, or it could be, I don't even know what else.
Okay, so if I'm out on the prowl, right, and I'm trying to find what's attracting me, I actually think that the first thing would be looks.
Yeah.
If I see you and I'm like, ooh.
That's because you usually don't hear a voice immediately as well.
You don't hear a voice immediately.
Right. I'm just saying on a first meet maybe.
On a first meet and you're getting some things.
I think dressing well is definitely part of it. If they, are they fitted up? Right? Do they look good while they're fitted up? And how's their voice sound? And I think the voice might be the most important one for me. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think either of those are really that. I think it's really the content of what you're saying. Which I know it sounds
that's true. But that's not what I'm asking.
I know, that's why I'm but if we're taking away things that people actually say, it's 50-50. Hearing, I don't really have an opinion on those. I don't know if that makes sense.
Do you care about voice at all, though?
No.
Really?
No.
People.
It just can't be horrible. But
they can just have any voice.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't.
Really?
Yeah. Any voice, any look. I'm not really picky on those things. The only thing I'm picky on, though, where I'm ooh, I'm really into you now.
Yeah.
Is if you say something that's
now same
smart.
Same. But
you say something smart. That's why I'm I think it might be a person that
smart with a good voice. It's even better.
Yeah, creme de la creme, icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But I don't really look for that.
I guess I do.
You're just a picky bastard.
I don't know. If
that was a joke.
Really picky.
It's not picky.
Is it?
It's not picky.
That's the.
I don't think it's actually picky.
I don't think
everyone has something that they're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or taste. Ooh.
Taste buds.
And people taste really good. You feel me?
I know a lot of times for girls it's the smell.
Yeah, girls are big smell people. Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess I'll agree with girls in this sense. But
yeah, when girls.
But again, I feel it's just I'm just saying I'm not attracted to bad things, but I'm attracted to in general a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, good smell, good. But I don't think that's gonna be the
defining
the realer. If you smell nothing,
right.
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But if you say something, I'm I think I might be what's the word? Intelligence bias or something. Because if you say something kind of smart. Something that I couldn't think of, but I find really intelligent. I'm
no, for me too. But if you
turned
said
on right
that,
now.
if you said that with a good voice too, it's oh shit. Then it's over. You know what I'm saying? Then it's over.
I think for me, it wouldn't be over, but that first jump, it's yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah, that's the first step.
That's that first step for me. Yeah. If you say something really, really smart in the moment, dude, because there are attractive people I see all the fucking time, and I will not be interested in pursuing anything with them.
Oh yeah, I get that too.
You ever see pretty people or like pretty girls and you're like, whatever, I don't care that you're fucking hot.
I think about that a lot. I meet people and they're like objectively super attractive, but I'm not that attractive.
Right, you all symmetrical and shit. Like I don't give a shit.
No, here's the thing. I don't like when I like have a crush. I crush pretty hard. Like it takes like I guess I am. I don't want to say I'm picky, but it's like I'm definitely looking for something specific. You know what I'm saying? And then when I find that, I'm pretty stuck in my way about it.
I just realized something.
What?
Because you're looking for something in particular, it helps narrow down the thing. It's like another issue about like looking for romantic partners, that there's like too much input or something, and it's like you're wasting your time with people when you should really be looking for this.
Right.
I just realized I should find my wife on the Harvard campus.
Oh, because you want to smart.
All the motherfuckers are intelligent. So one of y'all got to be the wife. One of y'all are the one. That's all I'm saying. One of y'all are the one for me.
But don't you? Then you have to think about: is my spouse going to have a similar job to me? Like, is the lifestyle going to work? It's like
I was talking about that with somebody where like I was saying I don't think I want to be with a creative in the exact same field that I'm in, out of fear of our relationship will become competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'll admit this as a fault to my own character. I'm not competitive intentionally, but if I feel like you're doing something kind of like cool over there, I feel like, oh, I gotta bring something to the table. I gotta be like, yo, I'm cool. I'm cooler than you. You know what I mean? And then I do have a competitive instinct that will turn on.
Right. I know.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. It's really unintentional, but it's like something snaps in me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm afraid of. So I feel like I shouldn't not that I shouldn't date a creative. I think I should be with a creative because the creatives will understand.
Right.
But not a creative that's doing the literal exact same job or interest as me.
I agree.
Or at least dabbles in it, but doesn't like make it.
It would be nice if it's somebody who dabbles but doesn't, but it's not their like number one thing or whatever. Exactly. Yeah.
But also, you don't want someone that's completely the opposite either, because I don't think me and accountants, actually, maybe me and accountant can get along. But it's just the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because to be a creative is a very specific type of lifestyle and brain function, and if you can't understand that at all, you're not going to understand me, and we're going to have issues communicating.
Man, it's crazy. It's also difficult when you're like all trying to pursue your dreams and like you don't want to get caught up in a romance because you want to focus on your career, but then you're also like, when do I focus on the romance? Because you got to focus on it eventually, right? So
and eventually it comes back around, dude.
So it does. Like this weird like stasis, but it's also like always on the lookout, but also never on the lookout.
It's weird because like you don't want to be pressed, but also you have to try. You can't do nothing.
Right, exactly.
The fuck, man. I do hate that where it's like, because it's a two-way street. You can't be too pressed on one person, but you do need to like. You can't just leave it alone, because if you don't do anything romantically, eventually you might end up being alone and no one will be there to have your back when you're old.
You gotta take some risks on yourself, like by yourself. You know
yeah, dude, you gotta take some fucking risks. So,
yeah,
it's a romantic game is weird, man. I don't like it. I don't like the romantic game. I've tried playing it.
I know, you're just like...
I will continue to, unfortunately, keep trying to play it because I just want to, but, like, it's so tricky, dude.
I've tried a few different things, man. I've tried, like, dating apps and stuff, and they're fun here and there, but I feel like it's even harder to get somebody that you're mildly interested in, like, because like, you have to go on the dates and like meet the person in person, and it's just like, it's just not a good way to meet people. Like when you walk into a room and you meet somebody, like you just get a vibe like so fast. Like if you vibe together, you don't get that over the phone. You know what I'm saying? True. You both acknowledge that you're attracted to each other because you like swiped on each other or whatever, but that's like all you get, and it's from photos. It's so different. It's
not from who people really are.
Yeah.
Because photos sometimes can be a bad or an overly good representation of people. Like, I mean, you heard about the Photoshoppers that, like, Photoshop their pictures before people post it and everything. Right. And not to hate, play your game, these photos are meant to be, like, you're kind of selling yourself. So I get it. You want to be in the best presentation. But it's like, but it also shows that it's not really you as a person. So it's even harder in the dating world, at least, to be like, am I actually even attracted to this person?
Right. Exactly.
When these photos are faked.
It's messed up, man.
It's tricky out here, man. It's tricky out here.
Anyway, I'm sure we've gone like way over the time. Like what time?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're at like 2 hours.
This is the 2-hour special. Welcome to the
if you wanted something,
episode 22 hour
if you
special.
wanted something special for episode 20, I think we definitely delivered it.
I hope
exactly what it was.
But before we wrap up, can we just quickly share just like, our feelings on this podcast and what we'd like to do with it in the future?
Yeah, I think this podcast has been great. It's like a great way to like talk week to week and like reflect on what we've done in the past week. And I think like recently we've done so much on a daily basis that makes the podcast almost more rewarding because it's like capturing like what happened in the past week or whatever. I encourage people that have a good friend to do a podcast and try to stick to it because at the end of the day, like, I know it's kind of weird to be vulnerable like publicly, but if you kind of think about it, like you're just capturing conversations with you and the homie, like that's a good thing to have captured. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a nice thing to save and for other people to see because it's like a frame of reference for how other people live and how other people talk and there's no downside really because like who's gonna say anything to you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I also feel the same where like this podcast doesn't feel like a job, but more of a journal where it feels like we're journaling what we're doing with our lives like every week. And it's really nice to catch up on that. I also recommend, even if you don't have a friend, you just gotta like, I think everyone should honestly just like do a journal to themselves via podcast. Like talk to yourself, listen to yourself, capture all of these different moments because eventually you're going to want to look back and know exactly like what was going on, what was your mentality at the time, and how much you've either grown or changed in the future. So I'm excited to look back on this in like 10 years and be like, damn, that's how I gave it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's definitely interesting.
And I love how I love how casual we do it too because it's like it doesn't feel like I feel like I could genuinely do this forever.
I know, right?
I can do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd be fine with doing podcast episodes. So it's nice. It's nice that other people can listen in, you know what I mean? And sharing our thoughts. It's allowed me to be more honest. Which I think I shared in earlier episodes that like my whole goal for the past couple years now is to be more honest with myself and to share that honesty with other people. Yeah. This is another way of doing that.
It is. It really is. I mean, you don't really get more honest than we got on this episode.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We give it up. Who else is giving it up the way we're giving it up?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you take nothing else away from this episode, if you just take some moments where you can TMZ us and
please,
us,
even shout out TMZ because that's free publicity. So if you want to go out there and say that we're the shittiest people in the world and get us canceled because we said some whack things and we said some real whack things in this episode.
That's the thing.
Man.
Like we go out on the line.
I started off with that dark humor video.
I know. We go out on a line. We go on a line. We go out on the line for our audience.
Yeah, we're out of pocket this episode, man. This whole thing gonna have to be episode 20. We got to give it up. You know what I mean?
Some shit got to go down.
Turning point. 20 weeks, technically 21 because we missed.
I'm surprised that was like our first like kind of like argument on the podcast.
We've had some minor scuffles here or there. Yeah, but this is the first like real passionate like. Yeah. I got something to say.
It felt like we were like again like on the PS4 like playing until like 4 a.m. just like arguing over Minecraft or something.
We only gave people really like the minor version of the even more petty arguments we've had for 3-4 times the length. You know what I mean? Like hours. I'm telling you, it'd be midnight. We wouldn't be done till 4 a.m. in the morning just off of arguing.
And like so it used to be over text.
That shit was worse, bro. That shit was worse. I can't go back to that. That was a gift for my psyche.
I remember I had to like stop arguing with you because I was like, this is like I would get like cramps in my fingers.
It was bad, bro. Yo, like, look, man, because like Kevin and I, we're the type. Not that we love like personally for me, and I've told someone about this recently. I don't love arguing.
Yeah.
but I'm down to fight you.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? I'm always ready for a fight.
I hate arguing, right? And like a lot of the time, I feel like I'm overly nice to people because I don't like arguing. But then it builds up, and it eventually just like explodes.
That energy, exactly. Like, you saving all these fights means you're eventually gonna have it. That's even me for the Drake thing, because it's like I don't care about your opinion on Drake or whatever, but eventually, like, I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna sit here and take what you say.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm gonna say something.
It builds up, and then your anger from like elsewhere in life, like, kind of goes into the argument. Yeah. But I mean, like, bringing up your minor arguments to people, I think, is still healthier than never bringing it up. Because, like, if you bring up healthy arguments to your friends every once in a while, rather than like trying to appease your friends all the time when you disagree. You let out your frustrations in the moment, and then you can solve it sooner. And I think that really is the secret to a long-term friendship. Like, a lot of people just don't want to disagree with their friends.
People don't want to communicate. Yeah, it's like, look, if you say, look, I think your opinion is trash, just say that then. It's fine.
Then discuss it. Then
discuss it. Like, talk about it, confront it, and then figure out a solution together to move forward. But some people will never, like, they don't want to have that confrontation. They're afraid of X, Y, or Z, and that means long term this relationship's gonna fail.
Yeah.
If you can't let your hair down in front of somebody, that relationship's going to end quick.
Yeah, I think that is why a lot of people struggle to like hold like long-term relationships. It's
I've seen a lot of non-confrontational people in our generation.
Yeah. Where
like no one wants to pick a fight anymore.
No one wants to pick a fight anymore.
Which is fine. Like it's not that fine. You gotta pick a fight. You gotta lay the line somewhere, right?
Right.
At some point, you gotta be like, look, I'm gonna fight you.
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground a little bit. Stand your ground a little bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is about me and you, like, we're both the type that, like, we'll stand our ground on shit, but be on opposite sides, so it'll never end. Like, it will never fucking... Like, honestly, all of our biggest arguments never had an actual resolution. Just a point where it's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
It's like I would say, like, agree to disagree, and then you're like, no, I don't even agree to disagree. I remember that. You used to argue that back.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. But sometimes, man, I'm like, no, bro, I want smoke. I want the fight. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do crave the fight. Yeah. But I do not like arguing.
I agree. Yeah.
But sometimes you just gotta stand your, you know what I mean? You just gotta you gotta go at it, bro.
Sometimes it's inevitable, but it's interesting.
I actually remember that moment. I remember the moment where I was like, no, I'm not even willing to agree to disagree with you.
You've done that multiple times.
Because it's like saying, look, I'm willing to have a truce. No, bitch. I came out for blood. Yeah, one of us has to die by the end of this conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sometimes, like, I get real passionate, man. That's why it's like, look, if it's not worth the conversation for you, don't bring it up to me. Unless you're down to have it. Because I'm always down. Always down.
Yeah.
I'll fight you. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the Drake thing especially, you take it very personally.
That's the thing with the Drake thing. It's like...
I understand now, because I'm like... Well, now that, like I said...
Yeah, if someone roasted the Strokes to you, you're going to say something.
Yeah.
You're not just going to sit there and take that shit.
I understand.
Yeah.
You feel like people are attacking you by attacking Drake because you like Drake so much.
It really depends on how they say it or how they word it. Because it's like, if you just think that he's overrated, sure. I can see why someone would think he's overrated. Right. I can see why someone would be like, his voice sucks. Like, I can understand all that.
Yeah.
But, like, if you come at him in a certain way where it's just like, you're just hating because he's the biggest... Or if you're hating because, like, I like him or something like that, I'm going to smoke you. I'm going to smoke the daylights out you. Because that's not reasonable.
The funny thing is, like, he is such a polarizing figure. Like
genuinely, the only times I really like to get into these fights is when people just hate because he's the biggest. Yeah. Because it's like, look, that's not his fault.
Yeah.
Some of y'all just like to play his shit.
Right.
He didn't ask y'all to do that. That's on y'all. So you can't hate him for something that society is doing.
Yeah.
You made him the biggest. Like, don't... You know what I mean?
No, I know. It's a fair argument.
Ooh. Man, we gotta pick an episode where we just argue about Drake.
No, we're not doing that.
Please, dude. Like,
I'm not. I can't.
I have, like... Oh, my God.
That's the thing. That's the thing, bro. I don't even care to argue about Drake anymore. It's like, I'm too tired of it, bro. Like, I'm exhausted.
I understand. Sometimes I'm also like, I can't... I'm whatever
I'm
your
already
opinion
exhausted from the argument we had today. Like, I'm tired, bro. Like, I'm so
I'm gonna go to bed after this one.
I gotta take, like, a nap or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, that's all I'm saying, bro. Like, stand your ground a little bit, but,
yeah,
opinions are opinions.
Yeah. All right, well, we should end this episode because this is already going to take
keeps fucking running,
18
bro.
years on my computer to export.
Yeah, and those time codes, man, it's gonna be all over the place today.
Well, don't worry. It's like
I didn't even get into Spirited Away. We'll do it next episode. I'm out of energy now.
Yeah. We've spent it. All right. Yeah.
On that note, it's been cool, y'all. We gotta get out of this real fast, just cause we're on fumes right now. So, see y'all later. It's King Cudi on this side
and Cough Drippy on the left,
and 2 Chainz.
Peace.